Week 2 of ESPNU HD kicks off in Dover, Delaware, as Delaware State, the defending MEAC champs, hosts Florida A&M. As an old familiar face in a new place, leading the Rattlers into battle, where they'll look to contain an explosive offensive force of the Hornets. ESPNU Thursday night college football primetime is next. The sun is setting over Alumni Stadium on the campus of Delaware State University in Dover, Delaware, for this MEAC matchup as the Rattlers of Florida A&M travel north to take on the Hornets of Delaware State. Hello, everyone. Charlie Neal, along with my partner, Jay Walker. We'd like to welcome you to Dover, Delaware, and Thursday night primetime college football. And, Jay, this Delaware State team is a defending MEAC champs, and one of the things they'd like to do is repeat as champs. And the man they're counting on getting them back to that championship is quarterback Vashawn Winton.
And this season, Vashawn Winton has to have leadership that he didn't have to prove last year. He's a proven winner. We know he can do that. But his patience will be tested as he has an inexperienced wide receiver core. He no longer has Shahir McBride, who you see here making the big play as his go-to wide receiver. How will he be able to bring along the maturation process of his new young receiving core is going to be the key for Vashawn Winton to have success this season.
And Florida A&M has a new face in a new place. We're talking about Joe Taylor. He spent 16 years as the head coach of Hampton University. Now he's in Tallahassee. He's going to get it done, I'm sure.
There's no question that Joe Taylor has the winning formula. The question down in Tallahassee is, how soon will the Rattlers buy into Joe Taylor's process? If they do it, he's got the formula. They can have success.
Well, he always says that defense and special teams wins games. And a young man who did it for him last week, I should say, and they went over Alabama State, was this young man, Leroy Van. He did it both ways.
Yeah, last week, Leroy Van was Leroy Van, the man, down in Tallahassee. He made it happen on defense with an interception. He also got a sack, and he had a special teams kickoff return, which was key. They're going to need that type of play from Van this evening if they're going to come in here and knock off the defending MEAC champions.
26 meeting between the Rattlers and the Hornets. Delaware State has won the last 3, and we'll be back to Dover, Delaware with the opening kickoff. Thursday night primetime college football is next.
Going.
Welcome back to Dover, Delaware, on the campus of Delaware State University, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal, and we're getting ready for this 26th meeting between Delaware State and Florida A&M. Of course, there you look at Al Levan, who's the head coach of the Hornets of Delaware State, played 3 years in the NFL, Eagles, Falcons, of 68 to 70, coached on the 49ers 90 Super Bowl team, led the team to the MEAC championship a year ago and did not win the Coach of the Year honor. That went to Pete Adrian down at Norfolk State, who also did a fantastic job. But Al Levan is the man everybody's after this year. He's got the big spot on his back, doesn't he?
I think so. And what he's done is he's built this program up to a fact where they're competitive now, and Delaware State's got a bright future ahead of them.
They do have a bright future ahead of them, and you look at this meeting a year ago, they beat Hampton for the 3rd straight time, 24-17. The quarterback, Vashawn Winton, ran for 2 touchdowns and passed for 1 other, and held well, that was Hampton against Florida A&M a year ago. It was 20-7. FAMU came out victorious, and it was, or I should say, Delaware State came out victorious. And Gartner with 2 field goals. Vashawn had a touchdown pass to Shahir McBride. They allowed no points in the second half. And there's Van, the man, the deep man. The players are having a little problem figuring out which side of the field they're supposed to be on.
They're juiced up and ready to go, and that's what happened. You know, last week, Florida A&M got the victory in a non-conference matchup. Now you're playing one of your buddies that you know, that buddy from the block that you know you can't run from. You got to play him every season. Florida A&M knows last week does not count. It's all about how you get off to a good start in the MEAC this week.
So far this year, the deep man for Florida A&M, Leroy Van, a junior out of Tampa, ran back 3 kickoffs against Alabama State last week, and including a 99-yarder. 3 for 158 yards. A good way to start the season, averaging 52 yards per kickoff return.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting early to see what type of kickoff approach they take. When you've got a dangerous return man back there like Van is, you've got to play tremendous special teams to minimize the damage he can do.
Riley Flickinger is the kicker, junior out of Gresham, Oregon, for the Hornets of Delaware State. Last year, mostly kickoffs for the Hornets, and this is a deep one, and it'll come down to Van at about the 5. All across the 20, gets to the outside, still on his feet, and stumbles forward to close to the 40-yard line. So they'll mark it at the 39. Good field position, a 35-yard return for Florida A&M, and that's where they'll start. First down and 10 at their own 39-yard line. Eddie Battle is the quarterback for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Astronaut High in Titusville, Florida. Last week, 9 of 15, 124 yards, no touchdowns, and he's working out of the shotgun on first down and 10. On the little play action, decides to throw to the near side, has it complete to Gerard Knight, and Knight is knocked out of bounds just shy of the midfield stripe. But again, there's close to a first down, a gain of 10 on the reception. And there we look at Eddie Battle again.
Astronaut High. That's a great name for a high school quarterback to come from. He came from Astronaut High.
He started the last game of the season after Al Chester left the team last year. Did split time with Leon Campbell. And this time he decides to hand it off to Sylvester. And Sylvester finds it going pretty rough there as a bunch of red jerseys from Delaware State were up to make the stop. And looking at the backs and receivers, Philip Sylvester, last year's MEAC Rookie of the Year in the backfield, along with tight end Taj Jenkins, a preseason all MEAC selection. Wide receiver Ike West, 3 receptions against Alabama State last week. On the O-line, Anthony Collins is a preseason all MEAC selection at the left guard spot. It is second down. And Sylvester again gets back the few yards that he lost on the previous play. Let's look at the Delaware State defense. The line is led by Ron Spinner, first team all MEAC selection. Hurst is the only non-senior on that defensive line. As far as the linebackers are concerned, Jackie West leads that group. And in the secondary, James Romaine, the only senior starting in the secondary. Third and 10. Florida A&M, they have a game under their belt, Jay. And we'll talk about it after this play if they see if they can convert the third down. Rush is coming. Battle stands in there, throws, and it's incomplete. Knight, the intended receiver. And I was going to say, they have a game under their belt. Does that give them an advantage?
It should. You know, they shouldn't come out and have the little miscues in terms of guys jumping off sides and having so much adrenaline that they can't perform their duties that they're required to do on the field. But that last play there, Eddie Battle did a good job of stepping up and avoiding the pressure. But Florida A&M should come in with an advantage. A lot of coaches will say, oh, we don't worry about that. We coach them up right. But every team comes out with some first game mistakes, and that's why they try and get better as the season goes on.
Brandon Hudson is back to receive the punt of Will Platt, a freshman from Lynn Haven, Florida. Good high kick. And it looked like it may have touched, it came close to touching a Delaware State player. It goes into the end zone.
First game jitters that we're talking about. That's a mistake you make game 1, not week 8 of the season.
51-yard punt, no return. And again, the Delaware State Hornets now, they'll go on offense for the first time tonight. First down and 10 at their own 20. Vashawn Winton, senior out of Chicago, Simeon High, who was the 4th leading passer and 5th in total offense a year ago. And one of the things that Delaware State did a fantastic job of was protecting their quarterback. They were 8th in the nation in sacks allowed, only 11 all last season. And they keep the ball on the ground, and it's Chris Strother, the senior out of Miami University of Central Florida. He's a transfer student. and he picks up good yards, 11 yards on first down. And they're going without the huddle. And again, they keep the ball on the ground with Strother carrying, coming to the right side. Backs and receivers for Delaware State. Chris Strother, transfer from Central Florida, starts for Kareem Jones, who has a foot injury. They're very high on true freshman Jamel Brashear at the tight end. The offensive line has 4 starters back from a year ago. Going up top, and now incidental contact between the defensive back and the receiver. Let's look at the defense for Florida A&M. Cameron Houston, the most experienced defensive lineman. Vernon Wilder led the team in tackles last season, forced a fumble in their win over Alabama State last week. And that is the linebacker Wilder. Strong safety Michael Creary is out, but the secondary is solid with Jason Beach getting the start there. Here's a ball going up top, trying to hit Zach Charles, a junior out of Winter Haven, Florida, and this is overthrown. And now to bring up a 4th down punting situation for the Hornets of Delaware State. So we'll see the punting unit come on. Remember, this drive started at their own 20. The first play, they got 11 yards, but then nothing after that.
Yeah, that was a very interesting first series. It came out, got successful run play, then went back to the same run play, then 2 incomplete passes. So kind of a hot and cold start for the Hornets.
Hall, the deep man, to return this punt for Florida A&M, and it takes a Delaware State bounce. Still going all the way inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. There's a timeout on the field after that punt, a good one that buries FAMU deep. And we'll be back to Dover in just a moment.
Make a U-turn as soon as possible.
Jack Link's Beef Jerky presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
5 feet from the hole, right here. Hey, big fella, want a cold one? Yeah, that's it. Come on, you can do it.
Jack Link's Jerky. Feed your wild side.
Any more questions?
ESPNU College Football Primetime, brought to you by FreeCreditReport.com. Stay on top of your credit score and credit report at FreeCreditReport.com. Along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal, welcome to Thursday night College Football Primetime here on ESPNU. And some rule changes this year. One involves the play clock. What do you think about it, Jay? The 40-second deal.
I think it really puts an emphasis on the quarterback. As a quarterback, for years you've been taught, hey, once you hear that whistle, you've got a mental clock that goes off that says you have 25 seconds. Well, now you heard that whistle that should have your mental clock going off 15 seconds early. So what it really means is it's going to speed up the pace of the game, but the quarterbacks have to know to get in and out of that huddle with that same sense of urgency.
So now for the second time this evening, Florida A&M has the ball, first down and 10. Mikael Benson is the up back in the eye, followed by Demetric Henry, number 23. But Battle wants to go to the air on first down, has a man out there, and this is overthrown, and it's going to be incomplete. Intending it down the sideline for Isaac West. Mike West is the man who that was intended for.
And one of the things that Florida A&M has is they've got some pretty big receivers. They go 6'2". Isaac West is the shortest one at 6 feet 2 inches. When you've got those type of wide receivers, you don't have to force the ball down the field. Get away with missing by underthrowing the ball and allowing the wide receivers to jump up and make an athletic play for you.
Against Alabama State a week ago, West with 3 catches for 40 yards. I formation. Now to keep it on the ground with Henry trying to bounce it to the outside. He doesn't get anywhere. He didn't get anywhere as he was stopped by Avery Grant, the JC All-American a year ago out of Nassau Community College. He's a native of Brooklyn, New York.
One of the trademarks of a defense coach by defensive coordinator Ray Petty is the ability to stop the run. I mean, Petty's defenses don't stop the run, they eliminate the run. And until you prove that you can throw the football on them, they're just going to stop the run and make you do something different. And right now, Florida A&M hasn't hit a pass, so they're going to continue to run stuff.
They're working out of the shotgun. Henry the lone setback back there. Standing right at the goal line is Battle. He's in the end zone, gets the ball out of there, and it is incomplete on the far sideline. He was trying to get it in the hands of Isaac West, the sophomore out of Tallahassee's Lincoln High. That'll bring up a punting situation for the second time tonight. We'll see Will Platt come in. He got off a 51-yarder the last time, and the deep man will be Brandon Hudson, a junior out of Georgetown, Delaware. In fact, he had a better punt return average a year ago than Shahir McBride.
Fantastic. That's saying something. Shahir McBride is only now playing in the NFL for the Philadelphia Eagles on their practice squad, so he's showing he's got some athleticism also.
End over end. Hudson has a chance at it. He touches it. And now Florida A&M had a chance. And finally, Delaware State got lucky and picked it up. The player from Florida A&M, all he had to do was fall on it. I mean, I believe that was number 42, Darius Patterson. And James Greg Ligon was the man who recovered it for Del State. But a comedy of errors there.
Yeah, and don't tell me that this playing the first game on the schedule doesn't matter. You can't make those types of mistakes. You did a great job on defense. Now your special teams is letting you down, giving up some of the field position yards that you fought so hard for. And that's one of those things where you got to get it together in all facets of the game. And so often special teams can hurt you early in the season.
First down and 10 now for Delaware State at their own 36-yard line. Second offensive possession. And they're keeping the ball on the ground. You know, we were talking about and talking to Al Levand yesterday about this team compared to a year ago. He said he feels that he has more weapons this year.
More weapons, more athleticism, but they're not proven. Inexperienced wide receiver, but he said we've got guys that can run for days.
And there's a little pass out in the flat. As you're talking about running, that's McNeil on the reception. And McNeil very close to a first down. Alvis Graham there defensively for Florida A&M.
And this is very interesting to see Delaware State utilize this no-huddle offense. Normally when you think of teams that want to control the clock and have a great defense, they want to kind of deflate the ball and eliminate the chances. But Delaware State saying, hey, for the 2008 campaign, we're coming out no-huddle, and we're going to tire out the defense.
That was good for 6 yards on a first down. Derek McNeil on that last catch. In fact, he is the godbrother of Jerome Mathis, who played at Hampton University.
He could run.
Yes, he could. First down and 10 from the gun. McNeil again the intended receiver, and it went out of bounds. And you got to say, is it a lateral? It was very close, wasn't it?
Very close. If you take a look where that ball was snapped from, if we've got a good look at that, you know, the ball was snapped. The quarterback was standing on the 40-yard line. It looked like it went out of bounds right around the 40-yard line. So that was a close one. And what you would like to see the wide receiver do is follow that ball to the sideline to make sure that another defender doesn't pick it up.
It is second down and 10 now for the Hornets of Delaware State. Their best field position of the evening so far. And a little play action. That was a little backward pass to McNeil. Good hit on the far sideline by Florida A&M's Greg Bowler, linebacker. Gain of 2 on the play.
You know, one of these extended handoffs, fake the dive option, toss it out there to one of your playmakers, Derek McNeil, in space, and that's what you do when you can't necessarily run straight ahead at somebody. You just do these extended handoffs, sideline to sideline.
Third down. Winton looking over to the sideline, getting signals from the coaches. Zach Charles moves. Play clock down to 7 seconds now. Pass incomplete. McNeil, the intended receiver, he skipped this one on the ground in front of him. I think he got a little anxious that time.
Yes, it seems like he felt the pass rush, it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
He had all day, he actually had an offensive lineman in front of him to block anybody that would have come close, and I'm sure that's one that Winton wish he had back. But
so Nick Lochner, the junior out of Webster, New York, who replaced Josh Bright as a punter for Delaware State, will punt it away for the second time. Hall is the deep man, and another good punt for Lochner. He had a 61-yarder his first time. This one, but a penalty flag is down. Penalty marker down on the field. Let's see what it's all about. Is it holding on the return team? Yes, it is. Donnell Leathers is our referee today, along with his crew out of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Let's see what they want to do with this one. This was after the kick. One of the things we talked to Coach Al Levan, and you were talking earlier about the youth of this Delaware State team, especially at the wide receiver core. His concern was how well his team matures.
How they handle success.
Right.
You know, they had a championship season. It was a dream season last year. So many young teams read the press clippings and they can't handle success.
On the receiving team, number 48, 10 yards from the previous spot, first down.
So does that mean Delaware State retains possession? I thought it was a post kick.
I thought the holding took place after the kick, but obviously they're saying it happened before the punt. So won't be a change of possession, and Delaware State will get to keep the drive alive.
They keep the drive alive. So they get the ball 10 yards from the previous spot. The ball will move across midfield now into Florida A&M territory, and it'll be spotted down at about the 41-yard line. So great field position for Delaware State. They keep the ball on the penalty. Normally those holding penalties occur on a change of possession, but I guess since there was no change of possession, it happened possibly before the kick. This time the handoff straight ahead, trying to get something going to Strother. And Strother struggles for about 3 or 4 yards.
And that's a good run right there. It's very effective. And the reason being, anytime a defense plays a cover 2, you have to have the ability to run versus a cover 2 defense look. With 2 safeties playing deep, it's 5 on 7. If you can get positive yardage, you can start to control the line of scrimmage. Good running by Chris Strother and the offensive line for Delaware State.
And after this play, we're going to talk more about a cover 2 and how you see it. Unfortunately, we don't have the straighter for you today, huh? Here's a little screen pass inside, and Darius Jackson gets the first down inside the 30, right at about the 30-yard line before Vernon Wilder, the senior middle linebacker, made the stop.
And watch Vernon Wilder, number 44. If he doesn't sniff out this screen, this is going for a touchdown. You'll see Wilder, he sees it coming his direction and leaps and makes that touchdown saving tackle. That was a great execution by the offensive line for Delaware State to bait the Florida A&M D-line.
Wenton 3 of 7 in the passing department, 17 yards. And this one handing off again to Strother. And a penalty marker is down. Flags are flying, and Florida A&M thinking they have a turnover, but the officials whistle everything dead. One of the people Florida A&M is missing on the defensive side of the ball is Michael Creary, a strong safety junior out of Deerfield Beach, Florida, and had a little meniscus problem after the Alabama State game, so he's not here. His place being taken by Jason Beach, who had a pretty good game against Alabama State. 6 tackles and interception.
There is no foul on the play for illegal formation.
Well, we talk about the teams, you know, having overcome first game jitters. Looks like the officials need to as well.
Yeah, they might be.
seeing formations out there that they don't see.
So no penalty flag, second down. A gain of 1 on the last play, so it'll be 2nd and 9. Again, Wenton working from the shotgun. Strother cuts it back inside. Strother still on his feet, and Strother inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 Delaware State.
Yeah, you see Strother there giving a big pound to his offensive lineman, left tackle Adrian Brown. Take a look on your screen, number 77 in red. Look at that seal block by Adrian Brown. Did a good job of pushing that man off the line, creating space for Chris Strother to explode through the hole for the big pickup.
You're talking about Adrian Brown, the senior out of Baltimore, who started his college career at Hudson Valley Community College. He's from Randallstown High. He's a preseason All-American first-team selection. This time on the near side, McNeil somersaults to the 10.
Talking about getting the ball to these athletes in space. Derek McNeil, one thing about it, he's a senior and he's playing like a senior. Inexperience of the wide receiver? No, not at all. Take a look at this run. You talk about an effort. You think he feels it? You get down in that red zone, you got to try your best to get into the goal line.
No question. Strother, the lone setback. They've worked with him as the only back there. And now a timeout's being called. I believe that's Florida A&M using the timeout right now. There's a timeout on the field. 7:02 is the time remaining here. We're in the first quarter. No score in Dover.
When you're a rock star, you get to party hard. Champagne and caviar, tricked out exotic cars. It's just how I thought it'd be. Except the party's not for me, cause some punk opened a credit card with my ID. Free what? Free credit. Report.com. That's the site I'm gonna hit when I go home. They know how credit works. They send email alerts. Now I'm finding out how bad reality hurts.
Offer applies with enrollment in Triple Advantage.
I got a feeling that we're
Welcome back to Dover, Delaware, where Delaware State is threatening to score against Florida A&M in our Thursday night primetime college football, along with Jay Walker. I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could join us. And don't forget, you can see the future stars of football today when ESPNU delivers high school football action Friday night. As the Armwood Hawks take on the Plant Panthers, it's a Sunshine State Showdown. Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike on ESPNU Friday night at 8 Eastern. And for more information, log on to ESPN.com. 7:02 remaining. Red zone offense right now for Delaware State. Winton stands in there, throws, and it's incomplete.
Wow,
incomplete.
Tried to stick that ball in there to his tight end, and they're really high on this kid, Jamil Bashir. I mean, he's got great frame, 6'3", 250 pounds, just a freshman. And I've never seen coaches say, you know what, if he gets it right, he could be playing on Sundays in 3 years. Great compliment out of the kid from Philadelphia.
Not a redshirt freshman. He also played baseball in high school as a pitcher, but coach said he won't play any baseball here.
Those days are done.
This is a jailbreak on the near side here for Vashawn Winton, and we have a penalty marker down.
Free play, and that's what a senior quarterback will do. Obviously, Florida A&M jumped offside. Winton went ahead. The center snapped the ball. Richmond, what you're supposed to do, and see if they can pick up some free yardage.
6:54 to go. In red zone offense a year ago, and one of the things that when we talked to Coach Al Levan that he wanted to do was get more points this year. They only average about 21 points a game, but they were sixth in the conference out of 9 teams in red zone offense. Only 18 touchdowns a year ago.
And I don't know if they're going to improve upon that.
Number 57, 5 yards.
Reason being is they've got as we've seen, they've got an offense that throws the ball sideline to sideline.
Late hit out of bounds. Half the distance. First down.
So they had 2 penalties. They had an offsides against Brian Parker, the strong side linebacker. And they also had a personal foul with a late hit out of bounds. So it's an automatic first down for Delaware State. Half the distance to the goal line is going to move the ball inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. Great field position.
And when you're going on the road, you can't make those types of mistakes in somebody else's house.
No, indeed. Strother, the second back in the eye. Strother has the ball. Strother is close to the goal line at about the 1.
That's one of those ones where you kind of question, and I don't like to second-guess coaches. But I do know one thing. I know Adrian Brown's been getting his man over on that left side of the line, 6'6", 330 pounds. Why not run behind the big house there, who early on has shown that he's going to have the ability to manhandle his man? Go to the left side. Pound it in there.
2nd and goal from the 1. Calvin Tolliver's the eye back. And we have a touchdown. Vashawn Winton, who scored only 5 rushing touchdowns a year ago, takes this one in with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. And Delaware State goes up 6-0. Thanks to the penalty. Remember, there was a holding penalty on a punt situation, and They're riding the Stallions here.
Look at this. I mean, what a football environment they've created here at Delaware State over the past 5 years. Fireworks and equestrian team coming out and the flags, and everybody's getting involved in the action.
Flickinger for the point after to make it 7-0. And the kick is up. And it is good. So let's look at the touchdown. LaShawn Witten, the first touchdown for Del State in this 2008 season. He keeps it, and he takes it in untouched by human hands. Thanks to a penalty, Delaware State gets on the board 7-0. A 13-play, 64-yard drive that consumed 5 minutes off the clock. Florida A&M, you get a look at Greg Bowler, outside linebacker on the sideline.
Let's take a look at why this play worked. Let's look at Greg Bowler. Let's take a look at why this play worked. Well, he took this one step up mistake. Once he did that.
Yes, Jay is having a little problem with his mic there, but you were saying, Jay, that the spot shadowed the defensive back or the linebacker there, and he kind of got out of whack there, and the quarterback was able to take it in. And so Delaware State will get set to kick it off for the second time today. They kicked off begin the game. Riley Flickinger will kick it off. The deep man, Leroy Van, the junior out of Tampa, 99 yards on a kickoff return a week ago, and a touchdown against Alabama State. Here's the kick by Flickinger at the 1-yard line. Here comes Leroy Van. He is fast, but they're not letting him get loose. Fumbles the ball. And Delaware State has it. You cannot make mistakes. We talked in the open about Joe Taylor. He doesn't like mistakes. Special teams is his strong suit, and special teams has let him down twice today.
Yeah,
the penalty and this fumble.
He was going to rely on special teams to keep him competitive this season long. Well, thus far, the special teams have let him down. Leroy Van trying to be the man when you got to know to protect the football first. You can't go anywhere unless you got your luggage. He left his luggage on the beltway, on the tarmac. And Delaware State, great field position.
At the Florida A&M 18, first down and 10. From the shotgun. Going to the end zone. A battle for the loose ball, and it goes incomplete. Is there a flag in the end zone? Zach Charles, the intended receiver? No. Just two players going head-to-head, trying to get to the football.
Yeah, just one of those football plays. See who wants it more. Kind of like as a little kid used to play 3 flies up.
Well, no, they call offensive pass interference. They called it on Zach Charles, the junior out of Winter Haven, Florida, transfer from Bowling Green University.
Wow, and I just actually thought that was a football play.
Offense, number 15, 15 yards, replay first down.
Yeah, Zach Charles doesn't agree with it.
Take a look here at the end. You see, looks like the Rattler defenders going down and overrunning it. And wow, that looks like just football right there, unless something happened previous to what we saw there, but you got to let them play.
So the ball is moved all the way back outside the 30 to about the 33, 32-yard line. On the blitz, and they get it to Strother. Strother cuts it back inside, still on his feet, breaks tackles, and finally pushed out of bounds on the near sideline. But what a run. Greg Harvey finally had to save the day for Florida A&M number 31.
And normally I like to give credit to the offensive line on screen plays, but that was all Chris Strother.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, take a look at Strother. He's got linemen getting in the way, and he makes a shake there. 3 linemen together. He goes past those guys, accelerates, turns on the jets. That's just a fantastic individual effort by Chris Strother.
And the thing is, he's starting in place of Kareem Jones, the senior, who has a foot injury. I hate to see what Kareem Jones.
Yeah, let you know how good a player Kareem Jones must be if he can put Strother on the bench.
Here's a little comeback pass to LaRon Moore, but a penalty marker is down. Ron Moore out of Hyattsville, Maryland, went to Northwestern High over in Prince George's County.
Looks like it's going to be holding against the Hornets, and wow, that's what you're talking about, the first game jitters.
On the offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty, replay second down.
Last year, Delaware State averaged 64 yards a game in penalties.
And that's not a lot.
No, it's not.
You can live with that one, especially if you've got a great defense like they've had the past couple of years. But early on, you can't have your offense creating these penalties to really take points off the board. If you're Delaware State, you end up with a field goal here, then you'll be kicking yourself.
But it is second down, second and about 15 or 16, they'll call it. The ball at the 23-yard line. From the shotgun again, and it'll delayed draw play. Here's Strother, bounces it to the outside, but a good defensive tackle down there to not allow him to get loose by Harvey again. Greg Harvey has saved the day twice for Florida A&M.
That's true, and unfortunately, you know who messed up their assignment again? Greg Bowler, outside linebacker. When they run that delayed draw, you've got to make sure you see where the football is. If you keep giving up outside contain, then it's going to be easy running.
So it's third down and 8. Delaware State 0 for 2 in third down conversions today. In the slot to the left is McNeil. Looks right, throws back across the field, has it complete. This should be 6. It is. Touchdown, Delaware State. And it is Eddie Brown on the reception, number 5.
This was great execution by Delaware State. The offensive line gave them time. And take a look at Wynn's composure. Step up in the pocket and still deliver an accurate football to a crossing receiver in Eddie Brown, who turned on the Jets and got in there for the score.
Point after to make it 14-0. So Winton with a touchdown pass today for 16 yards, a run for 1 yard, and they're a point away from making it a 14-0 ball game. It is up and it is good. And I know the fans down at the Moon that's watching this game down in Tallahassee can't be too happy right now because their team down 14 points.
Hey, their team has to find a way to match the fan base enthusiasm. You know, they're very excited about FAMU football with the Joe Taylor era beginning, and it seems like the team didn't get off the bus just yet. Take a look
at it once again.
Great step up in the pocket, hit Eddie Brown in stride. All young quarterbacks out there, that's so important. They hit a wide receiver that's running across your face in stride so they can run after catch. And what a great job. And Delaware State's looking sharp. I mean, they don't have an offense going to scare you. They don't throw down the field a lot, but they've got an accurate and efficient passing game that's figuring out a way to get it done.
And when you look at Vashawn Winton and what he did a year ago, he only threw 12 touchdown passes, but more importantly, he only threw 6 interceptions.
You know, did what he was asked to do. And I really give credit to offensive coordinator Doug Sams. You know, you can sit here and say, well, this offense didn't do anything. Give Sams credit for knowing how to call a game that allowed his defense to win games for them. When you're trying to win a championship, there's no style points. Doesn't matter if you beat Howard or Hampton by 2 points or 20 points, as long as you get the victory. And they found a way on this coaching staff to allow the offense and the defense and the special teams to gel together to create championship-style football here in Dover.
It certainly did, and that offensive line is still doing a good job of protecting their quarterback. They were ranked 8th in the nation in the football championship subdivision a year ago in sacks allowed. They only allowed 11 sacks all year.
Yeah, I really like that left tackle, Adrian Brown. I mean, he's got a great frame, good feet. He can move around, and he's agile.
4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. And Delaware State taking advantage of mistakes by the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Once again, Van on the return. Van trying to bounce it to the outside. Or correction, that is Sylvester on the return, not Van. The Van fumbled the last time that he came back with the return. And you're talking about Delaware State has put a new weight room onto the gymnasium. and they've done a fantastic job with that. It's located on the north end of Memorial Hall. Strength and Conditioning, Wellness Center, Student Union. First phase opened this past fall, or this fall, and it cost them $50 million.
You know, and I know something about putting projects like that together, and when you do it, you have to have a team effort to get it done. And obviously the vision of President Sessoms, Dr. Sessom, to invest in the athletic program here in Delaware State.
This pass goes incomplete. Tried to get it to Adrian Smith. Curtis Pulley has checked in at quarterback. Now, one of the things Joe Taylor did tell us is that they would let Eddie Battle work 2 series. The third series, this young man who started his college career at Kentucky, and they said he's just too good to sit. He was going to play probably every third series, and he's in there now.
Not only did he play prep ball in Kentucky, he was Mr. Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's a title you have to have. See, I couldn't have got that title. You would have heard it every time you mentioned my name.
And here's a little delay to the right side. Henry trying to go, but nothing doing there. The defense of Delaware State is all over it. Kevin Connor leading the way, number 52 there. Connor, a senior out of Lackawanna Community College. That's where he transferred in from. He's from Richmond, Virginia. Went to Manchester High down there. So it's 3rd down and 10, where Florida A&M is 0 for 2 in 3rd down conversions so far this evening. Screen pass off to the right side, but nothing doing. I mean, they were right there waiting for that one. Akeel Russell.
That just seemed to be poor execution by everybody. The wide receivers did not run off their defenders. The offensive linemen didn't sell it. You had about 8 Hornets that were in position to make that tackle, and on the screen you should fool everybody except for maybe one person, and you got somebody blocking him. So right now that is terrible execution on behalf of the FAMU Rattlers trying to execute a basic screen.
3rd punt for Will Platt. I'll tell you, he's got some hang time, doesn't he? And now it's touched again by Delaware State, and they almost commit a boo-boo.
You know, if you're Coach Levan, I'm not trying to tell you to do your job, but you may need to investigate how much longer you're going to keep Brandon Hudson back there returning kicks and punts.
Don't forget, Saturday afternoon, college football continues on ESPNU with a doubleheader. First at noon Eastern, the Huskies of UConn head to Philadelphia to face the Owls of Temple. Then at 3:45 in the afternoon, the Spiders of Richmond take on intrastate rival Virginia. It's college football presented by Allstate on ESPNU Saturday. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. First down and 10 at their own 31-yard line for Delaware State. New running back in the lineup now for the Hornets of Delaware State, and that is Phil Morgan, number 26.
Early in the season, I guess Coach Levan's feeling comfortable, and he wants to see what all he has. Give everybody a chance, and Philip Morgan's one of those guys that earned a chance at getting some snaps in the game through an impressive preseason camp.
And he's the lone setback in the backfield now, along with the quarterback, Vashawn Winton. He's still very good friends with Shahir McBride, who's on the practice squad with the Eagles. He told me Shy, as they call him, would be here for the game tonight. Talked to him earlier today. This pass from McNeil is incomplete. But you know, you're talking about Adrian Brown, and you talk about this offensive line. Adrian Brown, Kellen Kemp, Nick Richmond, Mike Maloney, all returning starters from a year ago. The only new face is Jermaine Morrison, who played against Adrian Brown when they were both in junior college. Morrison played at Nassau Community College. Adrian Brown played at Hudson Valley. But they didn't actually hit each other because they both were on the offensive line. Here's Vashawn Winton going straight ahead.
Talk about that offensive line, you know, and Morrison, I'm just surprised how big this line is. I mean, the left tackle, Adrian Brown, 330. Left guard, Kellen Kemp, 315. Center, Nick Richmond, 300. Then you got Maloney, the right tackle, 6'6", 290. He's the smallest one of the bunch. Yeah. And then you plug in a Jermaine Morrison at 6'3", 330 pounds. This is definitely one of the biggest lines you're going to see in all of college football, not just the MEAC conference.
Nick Lochner back to punt it away for the 3rd time today for Delaware State, make it the 2nd time. It was the last time. Boy, he lets that one fly, and Hall runs out of bounds with it.
That was
both punters are doing a fantastic job today at their own 13-yard line. And one of the things that Coach Levan talked about yesterday when he spoke with us is the kicking game. He wants to win the kicking game.
You know, and right now I would say he's doing a pretty good job. You
Two 61-yard punts.
I mean, that was a 61-yard perfect angle kick. I mean, the return man,
corner, as you call it, right?
Yeah, had no chance. All he could do was catch it and step out of bounds. So that directional kicking is something that's new to the college football game, and looks like they know how to do it well here at Delaware State.
Eddie Battle back in at quarterback for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. He sat out the last series, gave way to Curtis Pulley, the transfer from Kentucky. This one, the pass on the near side goes incomplete. In and out of the hands of Kevin Elliott. He had a shot at it, but the defense was there to break it up. And that's Francis Ujai.
Yeah, and I don't blame Kevin Elliott for dropping this ball. This ball's got to be gone. Once he turns around and makes that plant, that ball should be waiting for him. If you have to wait for the football, what do you think is going to happen? The defensive back's going to come up and hit you in the back. So the timing is not there in terms of the rhythm. As a quarterback, Eddie Battle, 1, 2, 3, get rid of that football. It's a hitch route. It's the route you've been throwing since you were in Pop Warner. Just get rid of that football so your guy doesn't get hit.
Now they're working with an I formation, moving people around. They try to go to the right side. Here's Sylvester. He's out in space. And he gets the first down before he's stopped by James Roman. Or is that Levante Page? That's the young man, Levante Page, who had a big game a week ago against Alabama State, had a touchdown.
And watch him bounce this ball here. You see the vision there. You see no red on the right. Hey, take off and explode to that one. And he was just a footstep away from getting into a foot race in the end zone. Levante Page is one of those little diaper dandies, you call it. Came in there as a freshman. And
yeah, from Douglasville, Georgia, true freshman. 26 yards on that last run. This time, Battle looking to go to the air. Puts it up. Has a man there. Just a little bit too big for Kevin Elliott.
Now, when you say too big for Kevin Elliott, this is not Delaware State wide receiver. They're all 5'9".
Kevin Elliott is 6'3".
He's 6'3". That's a lot big for everybody. Settle down, stick that ball in the seam, and you know, you wonder, that's the timing. I'm not seeing the timing of this passing game. When you've got guys running seam routes, you've got to stick that throw in there. It's got to be a crisp throw. You can't lob something down the seam unless you're seeing stuff late.
Talked to Joe Taylor. He said he's very proud, though, so far of the way this team has responded, especially with a new staff. And, you know, sometimes that can be good and sometimes that can be bad.
That's Papa Joe. You know, it's his way or the highway.
2nd and 10. Quick pass. This is Page again. Boy, I'll tell you, he made some people miss that. There's no way you could have missed him, right?
What do we always say the key to being a good running back is? Having the ability to make the first guy miss.
Right.
So even when the play's not there and they're waiting for you, you can at least make the first guy miss to get back to the line of scrimmage. And Page is showing he's got a little wiggle with him. I like to say that. You know, he's got a little wiggle. Got to work on the breakaway speed, but we know he's got that wiggle.
2 years ago, he was the Douglas County Player of the Year. He was all region and all state at Douglasville, Georgia. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter here in Dover, as Thursday night primetime college football continues to roll along. 14-0. Delaware State has taken advantage of some mistakes by Florida A&M, and they lead it right now. Second quarter coming up when we return to Delaware.
Saturday at 8 Eastern, Miami versus Florida.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. Yo, 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 oh no, you didn't. Sucker tried to play me, but you never paid me, never. Oh no, you didn't. Payback is a coming, you will be running forever. Oh no, you didn't. Until I get my vengeance, I will never end it.
As we start the second quarter here in Dover, Delaware, this MEAC matchup between Florida A&M and Delaware State, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal. Glad you could be with us for this ride tonight. Third down now and 6 facing Florida A&M. They trail in the ball game 14-0. Battle, the quarterback. It was movement on the offensive line, but they didn't call it.
Everybody in the stadium saw it, but the official.
And this goes incomplete. On the far sideline, right in front of the Florida A&M bench. So to bring up a fourth down, 0 for 4 in third down conversions today for Florida A&M.
And this is not really a surprise. You know, we did the homework, and they really struggled to move the ball against Alabama State last week. Although they scored 30 points, they had help on special teams in the defensive effort. So the offense still in 2008 has yet to find success moving the football.
In fact, they had 200 less yards than Alabama State, but yet they won the game by 10 points. Like you said, special teams, they had a safety that they were able to get 2 points from in the end zone. When you know there are impact players in this game on both sides. Let's start with the impact players in this game, Jay.
Well, I think the running game for Florida A&M has to get going with Philip Sylvester. They got to find ways to get him going. And Vernon Wilder, the senior linebacker, has to be all over the field for the Rattlers. For Delaware State, it all starts and ends with Vashawn Winton. We've talked about that a number of times. And as well, Spinner. The ability to stop the running game is what makes Delaware State so special on defense. So those are the impact players. And if any team is going to have a chance at victory today, those guys need to show up.
When you talk to Al Levan, he talks about the strength of his team being the offensive and defensive lines and the quarterback position. Vashawn Winton has played pretty well today. And he's going to run it out of there. Now he stops, hangs up, throws incomplete. It's intercepted, I should say. And picking it off for the Rattlers of Florida A&M is Curtis Holcomb. Curtis Holcomb comes up with the INT. He's a sophomore out of Southridge High in Miami, number 24, and a 7-yard return. So the first break of the ball game, he had 2 receivers open, but he just threw it a little too high.
He overthrew it. What happened was Winton was worried about where the first down or where the line of scrimmage was, and in trying to do so to stop his momentum, the ball tailed on him. So Merry Christmas, Curtis Holcomb. You got an early Christmas present via Vashawn Winton.
That's the first turnover by Delaware State today. Let's see if FAMU can capitalize. They get the ball in their best field position at the 40 as Sylvester tries to turn the corner, but he is not going to get away from number 9 over there, and that is Jackie Watkins.
Wow. You can't allow that to happen.
Middle linebacker.
If you're Philip Sylvester, you cannot allow a starting inside linebacker to chase you down from the backside.
It is 2nd down and 10. No gain on the play for Philip Sylvester, last year's Rookie of the Year. Tweaked his ankle a little bit against Alabama State a week ago. In fact, had a -1 yard for his total output a week ago on 9 carries. And here's a little play action now. The throw on the near side, and it's complete to Kevin Elliott, but stopped by James Romaine. And we're in Dover, Delaware for this MEAC matchup between Delaware State and the Rattlers of Florida A&M at Alumni Stadium, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal. 13:33 remaining after a 3-yard gain on that last play. It's 3rd down and 7 for Florida A&M. Again from the shotgun. Battle works. Steps up. Still on his feet. Tries to get away, but nothing doing as Fabian Dunn was there defensively to make the stop. The junior out of Silver Spring, Maryland. So 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions again for Florida A&M. And this has got to be frustrating for Joe Taylor to see the ineptness so far of his offense.
I think so. And that last blitz by Delaware State was an in-your-face blitz. I'm going to guard the wide receivers one-on-one. I'm going to bring one extra guy, and you guys can't beat us throwing the football. So right now the Delaware State defense is having its way, mano-a-mano versus Florida A&M offense.
Remember, they got the ball at the 40 of Delaware State. That ball skipped on the ground, but I'll tell you, a great punt. Now it takes a Delaware State bounce and comes back to about the 25-yard line. So it was not a great punt, probably less than 20 yards, 15 to be exact. Don't forget, we're in Dover, Delaware, and after the break we'll make a campus connection as we take a closer look at Delaware State's approaching Storm Marching Band and all the hard work that they put into making their product special. We'll strike up the band right after that. Stay with us. We're in Dover.
I don't know, maybe you should have been.
14-0 our score here in the second quarter. 12-16 left in the first half, and welcome back to Alumni Stadium ESPNU's Campus Connection is designed to utilize student-generated content across ESPN platforms to include the students in our broadcast. And tonight we're going to speak to Matthew Brown, drum major for the approaching storm of Delaware State's marching band. He's a senior from Orange, New Jersey. And thanks for joining us, Matthew. And all of a sudden, let me ask you how being such a big part of this great band has enriched your college experience here at Delaware State.
Well, being in this band taught me one thing: dedication. Dedication, you know, practice, hard work, perseverance. You know, without that, you can't really succeed in life. So that taught me a lot, you know, coming here my freshman year, building me up.
Now, Matt, we know you guys put in a lot of work and preparation into your performance tonight.
Yes, sir.
Well, break down your typical week of practice.
Well, Monday nights we don't have practice. We watch Monday Night Football. No, I'm joking.
Well, he's a music education major. We thank the Delaware State approaching storm's drum major, Matthew Brown, for joining us. Matthew, it's time for you right now to do what? Strike up the band. Go ahead. Do it for me.
All right. Más que nada. 1, 2, 3, 4.
First and 10 at their own 27-yard line. Delaware State leading 14-0. They have the ball, keeping it on the ground, and Strother, who's had some pretty big yards for them, 42 before that run, picks up 5 more. So.
Now, what do you think about the campus connection there? That's there. You know, former ball player myself, after drumline, the band started thinking they run the yard.
They do.
Now we're just putting gasoline to the fire.
Well, you know, everybody comes to the game to see the halftime show.
Whoa, no, they come to see their team win.
Yeah, but they also see the band.
Easy there, media guy.
It is second down at 5 for the Hornets. Strother again with the carry, stumbles forward, but picks up the first down. He was just tripped up at the last minute, and the penalty marker is down.
Flag came in there late like they may be holding on Delaware State.
64 yards in penalties a year ago is what the Hornets averaged.
They've got 64 tonight already. We're in the second quarter.
Holding on the offense, number 62. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Jermaine Morrison, the junior out of Brooklyn, New York, went to Canarsie High, I should say. Transfer from Nassau Community College.
But I will say this, getting back to the band. The further I've been away from the game, the more I appreciate the inclusive environment of everybody. Cheerleaders, bands, everybody else. You know, when you're an athlete, you think it's all about you.
Mm-hmm.
See, I learned from you, Charlie.
Yeah. Second and 15 now. After the penalty, now Winton wants to go to the air. He has some running room on the near side, picks it up. He has plenty of room. Down the sideline and steps out of bounds across midfield at about the 47-yard line.
Great recognition by Bashan Winton of the defensive coverage he was seeing. It's man-to-man coverage. You know how you know? Because nobody's got the quarterback. So you see him outrun everybody. The defenders have their backs turned to the quarterback. So what does he do? He becomes the running game. First down, Hornets.
30 yards on the run by Bashan Winton. He rushed for 5 touchdowns a year ago. His longest was 22. He just surpassed that on that run with 30 yards. Clock continuing the run. Across midfield again is Delaware State. Strother down to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8.
You just don't know how impressive that last run was. I mean, I didn't learn that until well into my senior year, that, hey, when you got man-to-man coverage, you see, look at his rushing yards. In man-to-man coverage as a quarterback, you become the running game because nobody accounts for the quarterback running the football. Very impressive by Winton. That won't show up in the stat sheet as great leadership, but we saw what it did and how it kept momentum for Delaware State.
Second down and 8. Little Screen, he was trying to get a little dinky pass out to Strother. And you're talking about taking off and running. We had a chance to visit with Bill Hayes, the former coach of North Carolina A&T, who is now the athletic director at Florida A&M today. And we're talking about the game in which you played his team down in Greensboro. Was their homecoming, and you ran 25 yards in overtime to win it for Howard University.
That's my Steve Urkel moment. Did I do that?
Yeah, right. Nobody believes it still.
Oh, they believe it now. It's on tape.
Third down. 3rd and 8. Wouldn't want to go to the air this time.
Oh, wow. You got to have that.
Yes, indeed. He threw it behind Zach Charles. And I don't think, again, there was that much pressure on him.
It was the perfect call. Anytime you can have a team blitzing, bringing an extra linebacker coming up the middle, you see it there. I mean, Charles did a good job of filling in where the defense vacated. Now, as a young guy, he's got to learn just to stop and stop drifting across the coverage. But as a quarterback, you just got to give him a catchable ball, and he had plenty of room to run.
Punting situation now again for Delaware State. Hall will let this one go over his head. And it dies before it goes into the end zone at the 1-yard line. A 46-yard punt for Delaware State's Nick Lochner. He's done a great job all afternoon.
And you wonder why the score is 14-0. Well, Delaware State's dominating on defense. They're putting points on the board, and they're playing great special teams.
They certainly are, with just under 10 minutes to go in the first half. 9:57 to be exact. 14-0. FAMU will have it backed up when we come back.
Your free confidential tax settlement analysis.
1-800-583-6651.
Back here, 9:57 to go in Dover, 14-0 Delaware State. And part of our ESPNU yearbook, we'll take a look back at Florida A&M. Bullet Bob Hayes. He's a young man who got it all done all kinds of ways. FAMU wide receiver, 61-64, tied a world record in 100 meters. Got a gold medal in the 64 Olympics and was on a Super Bowl VI championship team. And along with him and Claude Humphrey, former Tennessee State great, they have been candidates for this, or senior candidates for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he deserves to get in.
Change the game.
Pulley is back in at the quarterback spot, and he gives them some breathing room, gets them from deep in their own end zone. A 23-yard catch, but there's a penalty marker down. Avery Grant defending. Let's see if we got holding. No, roughing the passer, and it's going to be against Delaware State. A 23-yard gain.
And that's that pass earlier that we saw Battle miss when he lobbed it down the seam. But in this case,
personal foul on the defense, roughing the passer, number 94, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Ron Spinner, preseason first-team all-conference. His brother Bryson played in the NFL, in NFL Europe, was a quarterback at Richmond and the University of Virginia. He was the man guilty of the personal foul. Number 94. There's the penalty situation. 3rd on Delaware State, or 4th actually. It is first down and 10. The penalty moves the ball, and now they keep it on the ground. Sylvester stepping with a vengeance all the way down to the 35-yard line.
Football can be simple sometimes. Once you make them respect the pass, then you can run the football. Then you keep them guessing, and that's the Philip Sylvester we're used to seeing. Take a look here. Not a big hole. See it go across there, but once he sees that crease, he explodes through there and delivers a little blow there, and that's football there. That's FAMU, and it was all set up by the big pass by Pulley on the previous play.
He was not also a pretty good basketball player in Kentucky at Hopkinsville. That's where he's from. He's running the offense now for Joe Taylor and Florida A&M. Play action, he keeps it, going to take off around the left side, looking for a block, and a good defensive play down there by Francis Ujai, the sophomore out of Silver Spring, Maryland, and Springbrook High, number 36. He did a great job defensively.
That's what you have to do. When those wide receivers are trying to stalk block you, it's your job as a cornerback to get them off you so you can step up and make a good tackle. And Francis Ujai did a good job there. of getting off the block by number 15, Javaris Knight.
And Curtis Pulley has brought his team from deep in their own territory. Remember, this drive started at their own 7-yard line. He's taken them all the way down to the 35 of Delaware State. Working from the shotgun. Quarterback keeper straight ahead, and he puts his head down, and he punishes the defense inside the 20. You like that, don't you?
I like that one. Hey, the defender was looking for him to shake and bake. I mean, one thing I like most about this is Pulley made up his mind quick. One step, I'm gone. And then he goes upfield, and look at him just lower the boom on number 29, Jerome Strums. You're a free safety. I'm a quarterback. I've got momentum on my side. I should win that battle. I say I like I'm down there doing it. Pulley should win that battle. Good running and good toughness by Curtis Pulley.
This time, he does the option to the left side, and Levante Page will make that. Demetric Henry gets another first down for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. So this is the best field position they've had all evening long. They stretch the chains, they move the chains, and they're going to be looking at a 1st and 10. Well, they're going to call it second down. That was a gain of 8, actually. It'll be second down and 2, so they can get a first down without scoring. The ball resting at the 11-yard line. That was a gain of 12 on the last play. Here's the quarterback keeping. Inside, Pulley gets the first down at about the 6-yard line. And that'll bring up a 1st and goal. So the best drive for Florida A&M today and the best field position that they've had. This drive started at their own 7.
And the key is they've kept them guessing. You know, every time that Delaware State has tried to do something to come back to what Florida A&M has done, they've got them guessing. Do you want to stop the run? Do you want to stop the pass? And Curtis Pulley's coming here and showed some good athleticism with some good hard runs and a good strong early pass.
And he was a pretty good athlete at Kentucky the 2 years he played there. Also played wide receiver. And now late handoff and down inside the 3 to about the 2-yard line. On the carry is Page. Levante Page stopped by Mike Gable. Defensively, number 20, junior out of Bel Air, Maryland.
It seems like now, with the big plays, now the offensive line is starting to get off the ball for Florida A&M, and that's a good sign if you're Coach Joe Taylor and staff, because if you can get a touchdown here on the board, your team is right back in this contest.
Sylvester, the second back in the eye, behind the fullback, Mikel Benson, number 43. The handoff to Sylvester, bounces it outside, and he's in. Touchdown, but a flag is down.
This looks like it was going to be a hold on that left side of the line, and that's just what you can't
They
have.
call this against Delaware State. This is against Del State.
Offside in the neutral zone, number 94. That penalty decline. Touchdown.
Ron Spinner. So a 93-yard drive. Joe Taylor has to feel better about his offense, and I know he feels good with Curtis Pulley in there.
Hey, they went a long way down the field, and they look good doing it.
So now for the point after, Scott Trevor, a freshman, will replace Wesley Taylor as the extra point and field goal kicker, and it's good. And we have a 14-7 ball game with 6:31 remaining here in the first half. Curtis Pulley takes them all the way down the field. 8 plays, 93 yards. Philip Sylvester making his presence felt early in this season. And we'll be back.
Call now.
Joe Taylor feeling a little easier about his offense right now. They put some points on the board, and it's 14-7. Let's look at that last drive by the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Mostly running plays. Started off with a big 23-yard pass play, but then a bevy of backs doing a lot of good things, including their quarterback, Pulley. And Levante Page, along with Demetric Henry and then Philip Sylvester, caps it all off with a 1-yard run. His second touchdown of the year. He scored one from 3 yards out a week ago against Alabama State. He gets in the end zone on a 1-yard run now, and it's 14-7 with 6:31 to go in the first half.
And more importantly, I think the team showed they started to believe in themselves. After they were being backed up, you know, looked like things were all going against them. They got one big play, and then they got another play in the momentum, so they started to believe in themselves. And it looks like we're going to have a good football contest the rest of the way.
No question. offense was still asleep on the bus, weren't they? For a good portion of the first half. On the return is Moore, and a flag goes down. LaRon Moore on the return for Del State. Moore out of Hyattsville, Maryland, averaging 20.5 yards per kickoff return a year ago. 6:24 remaining and a 17-yard return. Let's see what the penalty marker is all about. Donnell Leathers, our referee, will let us know. Illegal block, powerfully in the back against Del State. Al Levan on the sideline. His team was up by 14 points, and now it's a one-touchdown game.
Holding, doing a run on the return team. 10 yards, number 12, first down.
So that was against Alameo Wilder. And don't forget, you can see the future stars of football today when ESPNU delivers high school football action Friday night. It's the Armwood Hawks taking on the Plant Panthers in a Sunshine State Showdown. Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike. ESPNU Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. First down and 10 now at their own 20-yard line, Delaware State. Quarterback Wenton keeps it. Uses a little stiff arm and gets out of bounds across the 25 to about the 28-yard line. A gain of 8, second down, and we'll call it 2.
Yeah. And that last play, that was the play that really changed college football. Which, you know, that little dart option that they do on the outside, you read the defensive end. If he goes upfield, you cut underneath him.
Coming back to the near side this time is Struther, breaking tackles and still on his feet, and finally runs out of bounds. I'll tell you, this kid is amazing, isn't he?
He's good. You know, and it really makes you want to see how good Kareem Jones is.
Well,
if he's got Struther on the bench backing him up, because Struther's done everything you want a running back to do. Make the first guy miss, run hard, have vision, and run with power when you need it.
And get the first down. And Struther right now, 49 yards on 10 carries. That's a 4.9 average, and they list him at 5'10", 185. I think they're being generous.
On the height. On the height.
And the weight. Little trap blocking up front. And they keep the ball on the ground out to about the 44-yard line. Eating up some clock right now is what Delaware State is doing in terms of establishing the running game, but they're doing it with the no huddle.
And that's been the surprise. You know, it's just such an oxymoron. No huddle and a team that wants to deflate the ball.
And the quarterback, Wenton, decides to keep it this time, but had nowhere to go, nowhere to run, and nowhere to hide, because Darius Patterson was right there to make sure that he didn't get a full head of steam going.
And I'm going to give credit to Greg Bowler, the outside linebacker there. He missed his assignment earlier on that last play. He fooled Wenton into keeping that ball, thinking he had more room to run. And Bowler tricked him and was able to come in and make the tackle for a loss.
Making it a 3rd down and 8 situation for Del State. They're 1 of 5 in 3rd down conversions tonight. This time, Wenton takes off straight into the gut, and he's still going to be shy of a first down as he crosses the 45 to about the 46-yard line. But not much running room there, as Greg Harvey was there defensively, the sophomore out of Largo High in Largo, Florida. Largo High in Largo, Florida. I keep thinking about Largo, Maryland, but he is from Largo High in Largo, Florida. And there's a 4th down coming up for Delaware State, so they'll punt it away again, but the punters have been fantastic on both of these teams today.
They've done their job in pinning the opposing offense back.
This is Nick Lochner, Jr. High snap, but he gets it off. Good hang time. Hall calls for it, makes the fair catch, fumbles it, and Delaware State has it. Yes, they do. And it's Stephon Hampton that came up with the recovery. Hall had it, called for the fair catch, let it go, and Hampton was right there to pick it up. That's the 2nd turnover by Hampton. I should say Hampton recovered it, a young man named Hampton, by Florida A&M today.
Yeah, that's just something that he just has to make that catch. I mean, he's got time, ball's right there. Delaware State defender might have been within that halo a little bit, but I mean, that's just a basic catch. You just got to come up with that fair catch.
So the ball at the 14-yard line. Second time they've started deep into their opponent's territory tonight as Strother gets the call, tries to go into the gut of the defense, and Cameron Houston, Jr. out of Rockledge, Florida, number 71, the criminal justice major, was there to make the stop defensively.
Well, and that's a huge punt muff right there. I mean, you've got an opportunity. At the very least, you're thinking as a coach, you're going in at halftime and you play poorly, down by a score. Now, more likely than not, you're going in at halftime down by 2 scores. They're going to milk this clock, and you just cannot make that turnover.
This time Strother again bounces it outside, still on his feet, and there's about 5 jerseys that have to bring him down from Florida A&M, and a late flag comes in.
No.
They're going to call a flag. They said they kept going after the whistle blew. I know what you're saying, Jay.
Because give credit. I mean, that was football. You're talking about Strother. He kept his legs turning and kept them moving. And then you had the linebacker, Brian Parker, that just was stopping his forward progress.
Well, Donnell Leathers was the referee who called the foul. Let's look at it. You make the call.
Now look at his legs. Look at Strother's legs. He's got him going. He's chopping
now.
But he's chopping those legs, and then he goes down. And
but see, what I think they're saying is when the whistle blew, he could have taken his hands off, and he threw him to the ground.
I mean, every now and then, people are going to get hit in this game of football.
Strother in motion, going to the air, and it's incomplete. Winton decides to throw it up, looking for McNeil. It was an interesting little story about Derek McNeil when they had the media day at the beginning of the season in Norfolk, Virginia for the MEAC. McNeil, along with a young man named Josh Pope, the linebacker, and Vashawn Winton were all there, but actually Winton and Pope were the featured people. They said McNeil, they took him along to be their chauffeur.
They can't get anything by you, Charlie. I just think you're a cop in your own private time.
This time a keeper by the quarterback, Winton, and he's in for 6. The quick 6. 3:02 to go in the first half.
A good team is going to make you pay when you create a turnover. And that turned out to be a costly turnover for Florida A&M, not protecting the football, giving Delaware State great field position, and they don't settle for a field goal. They add on to their lead by 6, possibly 7 with the conversion of the extra point.
By 13 or 14, you mean?
They added 7 points.
Oh, okay.
They added 6, and if they make the kick, it'll be adding 7. Went to Howard. I can add.
Except when you subtract 7 from 20. The point after is good. 21-7. And 2 of the touchdowns that Delaware State has scored tonight is a result of mistakes by Florida A&M. And Vashawn Winton made them pay that time with the run.
Look at the athleticism that college quarterbacks show today.
2 touchdowns rushing from Winton tonight. One from 1 yard out, this one from 4 yards out. And it's a 21-7 ball game.
I think at the open we talked about what's the key question down there at Tallahassee. We know that Joe Taylor has a formula. When will the players buy into everything that he's doing? And I can tell you, they started to buy in when they won, but have they bought into the fact that you can't just win on offense and defense? You got to get it done on special teams.
Well, one of the things you talk to Joe, he says, you know, there is no magic. And they talk about all the success he's had as a coach and rebuilding programs, what he did at Hampton University, at Virginia Union, Northern, one of the schools in Illinois, I believe he had coached at. And in terms of rebuilding programs, and he said, there's no magic to what I do. There's a blueprint. And what he has to have these kids do is follow the blueprint. He said, I can't come in and put any magic dust on you, and all of a sudden you're going to start winning 10, 12 ball games a year.
And I like that he appreciates the job at hand. You know, I told him at Hampton, it wasn't a restoring the program. It was a converting the team from Division II all the way up to 1AA FCS. And now here at Florida A&M, it's a restoration project. He's got to bring back the glory, and it's going to take a while. But I think, I mean, what a great hire by Bill Hayes, the athletic director. Joe Taylor's out there. He went and got him, and they've got a great football coach down in Tallahassee.
Bouncing to the outside for the Rattlers of Florida A&M. A good return was Leroy Van all the way back out, a 27-yard return. And they mark it just shy of the 40-yard line at their own 39. And we talk about Vashawn Winton and what he's done. I mean, tonight, he's 6 of 16 in the passing department, 59 yards, and he's rushed 7 times for 47 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
He's been the man, and we said that, hey, it starts and it ends with Vashawn Winton for Delaware State, and that's why he's the first team All-MEAC preseason quarterback selection. Did you catch that? The first team.
Yeah.
Preseason All-MEAC because of the academic casualty to T.J. Mitchell down at Hampton.
Correct. That was almost a nice catch by Elliott. He stretched out for it, just couldn't hold on. And there defending him was Avery Grant, number 21.
Let me ask you this, Charlie. You've been around this game for a long time. Why is Eddie Battle back in the game? I mean, just, you know, Pulley looked great. He looked great. And then you pull him. If I'm a quarterback and I'm just going back to my old mindset, hey, coach, I just scored a touchdown and now I'm sitting here next to you. Don't get quiet on me, Charlie.
Well, I mean, that's something you have to ask Lawrence Kershaw, the offensive coordinator, and Joe Taylor afterward. I'm sure a lot of fans in Tallahassee asking the same thing, but here's Sylvester, and Sylvester across the 45 to the 46-yard line. I mean, Pulley was a kid, again, even though Battle was the man of record, and they said that Battle kind of beat him out a little bit, but Pulley didn't know the system. You know, he wasn't as in tune with the blueprint, as Joe Taylor says, that he had put forth. But Pulley has shown that he's quite a talent.
I mean, and they all seem to say that he's got a higher upside than Battle. And I'm not knocking Battle. They just say the upside. And I think Battle, hey, he's done all right, but Pulley came in and had a tremendous drive that last time. And I just wonder why you got him on the sideline now.
3rd down and 4, complete on the far sideline for a first down to Isaac West. West ridden out of bounds by Francis Ujah.
Now what you're going to start to see is anytime offenses start to move the ball with any type of efficiency, once they cross midfield, guess what's coming? The house. I can almost guarantee you, if they drop back and try and pass, Delaware State's going to bring some type of pressure and not just allow Battle to sit there and pick them apart.
Ray Petty, former head coach at Howard University, is the defensive coordinator here in Dover for Al Levan. Here they come, as you said, Jay. You know Ray Petty, don't you?
I just know defensive coordinators. I mean, potato, tomato, tomato. You know, you cross midfield, they're going to bring some type of pressure to try and take you out your comfort zone, and that's a good job of blitz recognition by Eddie Battle.
And they're going with the hurry-up offense as that pass was complete again to Isaac West. Clock going with 1:22 to go. Here they come again, swinging out in the flat. This one goes incomplete, trying to get Philip Sylvester coming out of the backfield. Not a bad pass receiver. Only caught 14 a year ago.
Philip Sylvester is just a football player. I mean, you can put it back there on kickoff return. He was their lead return man last year, their leading rusher last year. And he's just one of those guys that they like to keep him on the field because he can make good things happen.
Now, one of the things we know, Florida A&M had quarterback issues a year ago. Al Chester left. Leon Campbell came on. Eddie Battle started the last game of the season, the Florida Classic. Didn't throw a touchdown all year long, but to his credit, didn't also throw any interceptions.
Neutral zone infraction, defense, number 97 with contact, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, number 24 South Carolina taking on Vanderbilt. Beanie's better. Young man, the Heisman Trophy candidate from Ohio State. Garrett Gilbert, number 3 quarterback in the ESPNU 150. All that coming your way at the half. 1:16 remaining in the first half here in Dover. And Florida A&M threatening. Ball down in Delaware State territory, has it there, complete inside to Kevin Elliott, and Elliott has a first down inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. Great catch by Elliott.
And that's why you like those big wide receivers that can stop, go up and snatch that ball out of the air at its highest point. And good looking throw there by Eddie Battle, and Elliott going up big.
Remember, he overthrew Elliott one earlier, and we say, how do you overthrow the guy 6'3"?
6'3", 200 pounds, and Elliott's just a freshman, so he's talking about upside. He's got a tremendous upside.
From Colonial High in Orlando, Florida. First down and 10, Florida A&M. Battle wants to go up top again, and he's going to be sacked. He's not going to get away this time from Joe Mendez, number 56. And now the clock stops. They're going to use a timeout. That is Florida A&M. That'll be their second timeout. Let's look at Mr. Mendez out of Montclair, New Jersey.
Yeah, take a look at Mendez. You'll see him coming around the middle of your screen there. Stepped up, outside pressure. He's a fill-in linebacker and came in and got that sack. That's what you call a coverage sack, because you had two guys on the outside blitzing on the inside, forcing the quarterback to step up and step into a headache with that sack.
This is 3 sacks for him a year ago for Delaware State in their championship season.
See, don't let those pads fool you. You see that graphic there? 5'11", 220 pounds. Now, he wants to wear number 56 and have those big pads to look bigger than he is, but don't let those pads fool you. He's a little fella, but he's got a motor. He's got a motor. Look how he looks. I mean, look at those pads. They're way out there, and you would think, you know, it's the biggest guy on the field. But he's lining up at that defensive end position, and he's tremendously undersized. But what do you make up for with size? You got to have that motor that just never stops churning.
Well, you know, you talk about this Delaware State team that went to the 1AA playoffs or the FCS playoffs a year ago. They played Delaware up in Newark, Delaware in the first round, lost that game to Delaware. But we talked to Coach Levan, and we'll address that after that, about what they learned from that contest. They're coming again. Lets it go, has it complete, and out of bounds at about the 10-yard line goes Elliott once again on the reception. With 33 seconds to go, Jerome Strums was there to make the stop.
And look at Battle escape the pressure, coming from the middle, get outside, keep his vision downfield, and deliver a ball right there to Elliott again.
But when we talked to Al Levan about what he learned from that game with Delaware, what did he say?
He should have said, be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it. Because they wanted to play Delaware,
right.
But he talked about it was a great success in terms of what they accomplished, but it was a reality check in terms of how much further they have to go.
How much further they have to go is exactly the way he put it. This time, play action to Sylvester, lets it go, wide open, touchdown, Elliott. And he beat Ajay in the end zone, 4-6.
Elliott will get credit for the touchdown. Battle will get credit for the touchdown pass, but the offensive line deserves all the credit in the world. That was a long developing play, and Elliott came all the way across the formation.
Now, who do you play at quarterback?
That's why I'm up here. That's why I am up here, and Joe Taylor's been down there for over 20-something years.
I mean, you asked me the question, I couldn't answer it. Oh, they dinged it off the left upright, but there's a penalty marker down. Let's see what the penalty marker is all about. With 28 seconds to go, it may have be against, no, it's against Delaware State.
Well, I know that Roland, that's the
procedure penalty, number 26 of the defense, leaping from 1 yard beyond, replay to try.
So an opportunity once again for Trevor Scott, who dinged this one off the left upright, to make it a 7-point ball game, 21-14 as Joe Taylor looks on. Brian Gilmore holding. This one is good. So 21-14 is our score. 28 seconds to go in the first half. Let's look at the touchdown pass as Battle throws his first one of the season.
See Elliott come all the way across the formation. In order to do that, the offensive line has to solidify the front so the quarterback can turn his back to the defense, and Elliott has time to clear the defensive secondary. And that's how you draw it up, and you can only do that if you got confidence you can protect your quarterback, because the quarterback has to turn his back to the defense in order to sell the play action fake.
That drive started at their own 40-yard line. And we'll look at a comparison between the two quarterbacks right now, Battle and Pulley. Battle 8 of 10, 68 yards, a touchdown. Pulley 2 of 3, 23 yards, no touchdowns, but he did it with his legs.
And I think one of the reasons why Coach Taylor probably put Battle back in the game is to run the 2-minute hurry-up offense. You know, when you've got a young kid out there, he may not have a grasp of the system, the command of the 2-minute offense system. And hey, it's a great job, and whatever works, works. And 7-point ball game, and that's a great job of responding to the gauntlet being thrown down by Delaware State, by the Rattlers. You can hear them hissing at the moon, can't you?
Also, great job by Battle after Pulley came in and led him on a drive. He comes back and puts him in the end zone as this return is going to be by LaRon Moore. 22 seconds to go before halftime, and got a player a little slow getting up for the Rattlers of Florida A&M, and that is Alfonso Walker, a reserve linebacker, going down on special teams. There he is. 22 seconds to go. You just kneel down, let it go, or do you put it in the end zone?
Oh, you don't even take a chance. I don't even know if you hand the ball off. I think you just take a knee and you go in there and you let your team know, okay, and the good thing is we're up by 7. The bad thing is we could be up by 14 or more. And I think defensively they got to figure out some things. It looks like Florida A&M started to realize some of the weaknesses in this Delaware State defense. And one thing I can guarantee you is they're going to go back to what worked. And so if you're Delaware State, you got to shore up the fronts on the defensive side of the football. And if you're Florida A&M, you got to play better special teams.
There's no question about it. And let's look at some MEAC storylines that's going on. First of all, Jerry Holmes, the new head coach at Hampton. We say congratulations to him. He gets his first win as a head coach. Last week, Sunday, we did that game down in Orlando against Jackson State.
He's undefeated. How long will it last?
Well, it depends on what he does this weekend at Southern Illinois. And that's going to be a very big test for the Pirates of Hampton University. And, of course, Will Ford, the preseason Offensive Player of the Year from South Carolina State. His team, for the second straight year, picked to win the MEAC, and can they live up to the expectations?
Can they do it? The expectations have been rising down there in Orangeburg, and they won a championship. Will Ford's a special talent. He can help lead them to the promised land.
And you saw Endor Cooper from Howard University.
From where?
He is the defensive player.
Where is he from?
Preseason Defensive Player of the Year. And Howard has done a very good job over the last few years of putting defensive players at the next level.
In the NFL, Antoine Bethea, Marcus Douglas, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 in there right now. That's it.
And then I think as Mr. Walker is escorted off the field, one of the key questions they're asking Norfolk State, just like Delaware State, you can almost ask, were they a one-year wonder? Are they here to last?
I don't believe they're one-year wonder. I believe that Pete Adrian is finally, as using an adage from Joe Taylor, he's got the blueprint. And they're doing a pretty good job down there in the Tidewater area. So with 22 seconds to go, they're working out of the shotgun with Vashawn Winton at their own 34-yard line. And they're going to have a little draw play to Strother. Strother up the gut for about 11 yards. Make it 12 on the carry. So it's 1st and 10. They move the chains, and let's see if Delaware State's going to call a timeout. They are. Doug Sams is the offensive coordinator. He's up in the booth for Delaware State. And you talk about some of the coaches that are on these two staffs. Both staffs have coaches who have been head coaches in this conference. Ray Petty on Delaware State staff, the defensive coordinator, and a defensive line coach over at Florida A&M, George Small, who succeeded Bill Hayes and was the last coach to win a MEAC championship at North Carolina A&T. And he's on the staff of Joe Taylor at Florida A&M.
And, you know, good to see. And that's just that expertise you just can't pay for. You know, as a head coach, you can only be so many places at so many times. And I often say, on this level of football, your job as a head coach is not necessarily the X's and O's. It's the fundraising, it's the community relations, it's the making sure the grades are in line. And if you're going to take that type of approach, you've got to have a guy on your staff that knows what you're going through. And I think both these coaches have realized the importance of having a strong associate head coach. That's the new title they give these guys now, associate head coach.
Yeah. Joe Taylor came into this game with 198 career wins. He's 2 away from 200 in his career, and that's quite an accomplishment. 15 seconds to go. Here's a little screen out in the flat to Strother. Strother still on his feet, and Strother gets to midfield somehow.
Strother just shook. I mean, absolutely just shook a Rattler defender. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen a shake like that since Barry Sanders was getting it done. Jason Beach, when you come up to tackle a grown man, you better bring your lunch with you. Don't break down too soon. Take a look here. I mean, Beach has the perfect angle, but watch Strother. Wop, 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 wop. There he goes. I mean, and kept moving. You know, Beach is going for the knockout blow, but look at this. Just look.
I think Gomensky Wilson was also fooled a little bit. Number 92 there on the defensive end.
That's stepping. See, that's called stepping. You know, Curtis Strother, he can step. I figured it out. I've been trying to figure out what it is that's special about him. He can step. I mean,
well, he's from Miami, Florida. You know, they've got some great kids down there in Miami.
Yes,
and I guess, you know, Joe Taylor's got to be saying, how did he get to Delaware?
Joe's saying, not on my watch. That won't happen anymore in the future. You know, the homeboy's got to stay home.
But one of the things he said he did right away when he got the job, he went on a 20-city tour and talked to alumni in terms of raising funds for the program and also getting his name out there as far as recruiting is concerned. He also has Earl Holmes on his staff.
Ooh, don't mention that name.
You remember him.
I'm still sore.
Here's a pass in the middle.
We get a timeout.
And now this is their last timeout with 2 seconds to go. All the way down into, they're going to try to field goal. Yes, they are. They're going to bring on Riley Flickinger to attempt the field goal. He's only attempted one in his career, and he's 0 for 1. And that was a 53-yard attempt against South Carolina State. This one will be about 53 again.
He can make this. I was watching in the pregame, and one thing about this stadium, the wind really blows from your right to left if you're watching at home on TV. And he was booting 45 yards with plenty of room to spare. So with the type of wind you get in this stadium, if you get the ball up there with a little hang time, you see the way the thing is blowing? You see it's blowing, that's blowing behind. So you got some wind. If you can get it up in the air, you can easily make a 53-yard field goal here. So good clock management. It's going to be interesting.
He replaces Peter Gardner as the field goal kicker this year. Gardner's longest was 45. He was a first-team All-MEAC a year ago who led the conference in kick scoring with 80 points. But here's a chance for Mr. Flickinger to attempt or put his team up by 3 more points. This will be a 53-yard attempt, which should be the last play of the first half. And now Joe Taylor wants to ice Mr. Flickinger.
Because he knows it's a makeable field goal. You know, coming here for so many years, you know, one thing you're always going to get when you come to Delaware is wind. You know, whether it's blowing from the raceway right across the street or just because this stadium is so open-ended, the wind's always blowing one direction or the other. And so why not ice him? Every point is valuable in a league contest.
Especially now. And this is kind of unusual to play a conference game so early in the season. And remember, Delaware State has beaten Florida A&M 3 straight years, even though Florida A&M has an 18-7 edge in the series.
Yeah, and that just tells you the direction the programs have been going. You know, Florida A&M seemed to be going on the decline, and Coach Al Levan got on campus, and this Delaware State program is on the incline.
Last time that Florida A&M was in the 1AA playoffs, or the FCS, that was in 2001. Billy Joe took them there. In fact, he took them to 6 playoffs, and they were 3-6 overall. They won the first ever 1AA playoff. That was under Rudy Hubbard. And let's see if this 53-yard attempt is going to be good by Flickinger. It's up. It's got the distance. No good. Off to the left. Last play of the game. He had the distance.
Plenty of it.
Yes, he did. Well, we're at halftime. 21-14 is our score here as we look at the kick again, and he's trying to pray it through. Oh, it just wasn't enough. Let's go to Beth Mowens, Charles Arbuckle, and Mike Mentor in the Sports Center U studio. 21-14 our score here at halftime, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal at the Alumni Stadium on the campus of Delaware State in Dover, Delaware for this MEAC matchup. And early on, Jay, Delaware State, they look like they're going to run away with it for a while, but FAMU's hanging tough.
Yeah, very opportunistic, taking advantage of turnovers here. You see quarterback Deshaun Witten fool the defense on the bootleg on the outside to give the Hornets the early lead. Florida A&M tried to come back, a little too much effort here by Leroy Van as he fumbled the football. And what do good teams do when teams turn over the ball? They become opportunistic. You see Witten here with the touchdown strike to Eddie Brown crossing the coverage. Moving right ahead, Florida A&M had a chance to get back in it. They took advantage of this. Philip Sylvester running to daylight on the outside to put the Rattlers on the board. But then they had an opportunity to keep this game close. Another turnover led to what? Another touchdown run by quarterback Deshaun Witten, his second on the evening.
And he also has one in the air.
Coming back, last drive of the series, you see the quarterback, Eddie Battle, stays tough in the pocket, finds his wide receiver, Kevin Elliott, in for the touchdown strike to bring the Rattlers within striking distance again as they trail by 7 going into the second half.
And the first half stats look a little bit like this. Rushing yards, you see FAMU only 78 to passing yards for Delaware State.
Both teams have the ability to run the football. 78 yards is not bad rushing for the first half. Passing yards, they need to pick it up a little bit. But I think ultimately the key story of the first half, turnovers, 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 and Delaware State exposing those turnovers or taking the opportunity to turn those turnovers into 21 points.
And the interception that Witten threw in the first half did not lead, fortunately for Delaware State, to a touchdown by FAMU, but they were able to capitalize late in the first half, as Delaware State will get the ball to start the second half here. Coming down on the far side and trying to bring it back for the Hornets. Zach Charles, 3-yard return, and the ball will be spotted right at the 25-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for the Hornets. They lead it by a touchdown here. As you just saw the highlights, Witten with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter made it 7-0 on a run, then a 16-yard pass to Brown made it 14-0. 3 touchdowns between the two teams in the second quarter. First down and 10 now. Strother straight into the gut of the defense, still on his feet, still going, and finally after about a 10-11-yard gain, and as Jason Beach finally making the stop, number 28 defensively. Boy, I'll tell you, he is quick.
I told you that he can step, and one thing you like about him is once he gets in hole in small spaces, he can make that first guy miss, and he's got the ability to not only make the first guy miss, but to make the first guy trying to make the tackle look bad. I mean, he's shaking these guys in small spaces.
So Strother with 95 yards on 16 carries so far tonight. And now the quarterback decides to take off and run, and that is Deshaun Witten, and Witten picks up about 6 yards on that carry.
At a certain point, you got to think that Florida A&M has got to start crowding the line of scrimmage. What do I mean by that? Bring 8 defenders within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Delaware State hasn't shown they're going to throw the ball deep. They're going to throw the ball sideline to sideline. Why not crowd the box?
This time, Strother again bounces back to the outside. Boy, he made Jaminski Wilson look like a kid in a candy store.
Not only does he make
didn't know which way to go.
He doesn't make the first person only miss. He makes the first person look bad.
Great bowler made the stop finally.
When you got a guy running like that, you want your other teammates to go up and make the tackle first. Here, you go get him, and then I'll come help you out.
This is Strother out of Miami, Florida. Started his college career at the University of Central Florida, UCF. Low snap. Battle will put it out to the tight end Bashir. That's his first catch as a collegian. Jamel Bashir. Vernon Wild, the linebacker, was right there. True freshman out of Philadelphia High in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 3 varsity letters back in 2006. Also played tight end and defensive end and was second team All-City.
Well, on that last play, it was welcome to big-time college football. Vernon Wilder got his hands on him and took him down to the ground quickly and aggressively.
Delaware State will punt it away. They've done a pretty good job of punting so far today, averaging Delaware State 47.5 yards per punt. And this is Nick Lochner. This one is probably, he had been given great hang time, but this one is not one of his better punts as far as hang time is concerned. At their own 25 is where FAMU will get the ball. And don't forget, Saturday afternoon college football continues on ESPNU. It's a doubleheader. First at noon Eastern, it's the Huskies of UConn heading to Philadelphia to face the Owls of Temple. At 3:45, the Richmond Spiders take on intrastate rival Virginia. College football presented by Allstate on ESPNU Saturday. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. 12:33 remaining third quarter. FAMU has scored on their last two possessions before halftime. Let's see if they can continue and make it three straight as West makes the reception, and he's stopped by Francis Ujai. Ujai's been pretty busy in there today, hasn't he?
He has. He's been around, around the football, just trying to make things happen. And you need those type of guys. But now with so many offenses going to this spread offense and trying to make you play sideline to sideline, you need 11 defenders that are very mobile and athletic on the defensive side of the football.
On the inside, handoff, not much running room there for Demetric Henry, the junior out of Gifford, Florida, went to Vero Beach High. A week ago against Alabama State, 9 carries for him, 16 yards. 9 games as a freshman 2 years ago in 06, where he ran for 414 yards in 9 contests.
It's one of those downs and distances where you like to see Florida A&M try and get Kevin Elliott involved. He seemed to have been a matchup problem for some of the Delaware State Hornets. Line him up in that slot receiver position and get him one-on-one, see if he can make a play.
2 of 7 in third down conversions for FAMU tonight. Battle taking off straight down the gut. First down and more at the 40. He's brought down finally. But he gets the first down on the run. Mr. Battle, 13 yards on the carry for Eddie Battle.
Yeah, and this was a zone blitz here. You see some of the defensive linemen just holding their men steady, and you got Battle coming through there running, lowering the head, good hard running against a soft zone blitz by Delaware State to give the Rattlers the first down.
You know, it's interesting, even though these teams have played each other over the years, each year, this is the first time Florida A&M has been in Alumni Stadium since 2002.
And I bet you they're like me. They're like, wow, this is Delaware State? I mean, this is a college football environment now.
We've got movement up front. That'll move them back 5 more yards. But you're right. They have a great campus here, beautiful campus.
They've done a good job. We saw the weight room earlier, and then you're talking about just this environment. This is festive. I mean, Delaware State used to be a road trip you did look forward to because there weren't going to be many fans there. But now the crowd is here. Everybody's pumping. There's excitement in the air. And hats off to the athletic program here at Delaware State for picking it up.
So a false start against the Rattlers of Florida A&M. That is their 4th penalty for 26 yards. The
approaching.
Yeah.
The approaching storm.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. There's a lot of storms out there.
Matter of fact, yeah. Let's knock on wood. We don't want to say that. Talk about approaching storm. What letter are we up to now? Is it head G? We're on I now?
I think we're on J.
Ike?
We're on J.
And J is probably coming around the corner.
Yeah, J is out there, Jay. Yeah. First down and 15 now for Florida A&M. That is their 4th penalty of the evening. Throw complete to Elliott. Elliott has a touchdown reception. That's good for 4 yards. So it'll bring up 2nd and 11.
Long developing play there. And one of the things you saw there is Battle showed you he's got pretty good arm strength to have the ability to throw that ball from one hash to the other sideline. Weighted out that wide receiver, did force the ball into space. And so often you see a young quarterback after a penalty try and get all 15 yards back at once. Go ahead, take 4 yards, and you got 3 more downs to get the first down.
Elliott redeeming himself after dropping a 60-yard touchdown pass last week against Alabama State. He has 5 receptions tonight for 47 yards and a touchdown. He only had 1 catch last week for 16. A little pressure on Battle. He's decided he's going to run out of there and run out of bounds by big number 97, Akil Russell, the senior, out of Springbrook High in Silver Spring, Maryland.
And this is why you like mobile quarterbacks, because if you've got the protection breaks down, then he can make somebody miss and get to the outside. As you'll see Battle, you've got somebody right in his face. Whoop, look at the little shake move on the end right there unblocked. But look at the athleticism by
Russell.
By Russell, just tracking down that quarterback, chasing him down and pushing him out of bounds. So when you got guys with motors and guys that big just aren't supposed to be able to move that fast.
Russell weighs in about 260, 6'4". 3rd down and 7 now for FAMU. Well, this was out of bounds. Nobody. James Romaine was covering on the far sideline Isaac West. So it'll bring up a 4th down punting situation with 9:17 to go, 3rd quarter in a 21-14 ball game. Another good punt by Will Platt. And the catch for FAMU, I should say, for Delaware State is Zach Charles, a 36-yard punt, but a penalty marker is down. After today, FAMU has about 11 days a break before they travel back into the Northeast again when they take on Howard University. Not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after next. I believe that's the 20th.
Making the trip north, huh?
Doing the return, illegal block in the back of the return team, number 29, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
No, that'll be the 13th, I believe that game is, on the 13th. There's Joe Taylor.
See if we can take a look for this block in the back. Should come right there on the right side. Yep, you see there, he drops it, and that official right there makes the call. Block in the back. Can't do that.
So the ball is spotted all the way back at about the 12-yard line. 9:05 is the time remaining in the 3rd quarter of play here. We're in Dover, Delaware for this MEAC contest. Back in a moment.
You must not know that FAMU graduates the most African Americans with baccalaureate degrees in the nation.
I told him I scored my first point.
Well, Florida A&M's consecutive drive scoring streak was broken this last time they had the ball. They trail it by 7, 21-14. We're in the 3rd quarter, 9:05 to go, along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal here in Dover, Delaware for this MEAC contest. 1st down and 10 at their own 9-yard line now for the Hornets of Delaware State. And again, Strother on the carry, trying to go to the left side. Not a lot of running room for him over there. You know, when you look at this game with Delaware State, they have won 3 straight season openers. The last time they lost a season opener, Jay, was back in 2004, and that was to UMass. So they've won 3 straight. They're trying to make it 4 in a row.
And that was, for all intents and purposes, a different Delaware State program.
It certainly was.
Not the program they have now, not
and
the level of expectation.
And that was Al Levan's first year.
Yes, so he's come in and increased the level of expectation.
He hasn't lost a season opener since. Out in the flat to the tight end, Bashir, his 2nd catch of the evening. The freshman out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Finally stopped by Brian Parker, number 57. He was redshirted a year ago, and they say, you know, he's very physical, has great speed, like 4.5 40 speed for a linebacker that comes in at 220.
Sounds like everybody I've ever heard to play linebacker in the state of Florida. Great speed, can run.
Screen back into the inside, and LaRon Moore gets to the outside, and Moore out of bounds in front of the FAMU bench. LaRon Moore with the catch. Jason Beach ran him out Good for 20 yards, and out to the 35 goes Del State.
They did a lot of things right on this screen here. You see the quarterback fake it hard to the right, come back left, and take a look at Derek McNeil, number 89 on the left side of your screen. Gets just enough of a body on the defensive back Holcomb there to allow Moore to pick up the extra yardage for the big play.
Strother straight ahead. Strother met in the hole and finally brought down. First man to hit him there was Alvis Graham. 7:23 remaining in the third quarter. We're in Dover, Delaware for this MEAC contest. Florida A&M in the visiting white jerseys, taking on the home team Delaware State, along with Jay Walker. I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could be with us for Thursday night primetime college football right here on the ESPNU in HD. Strother again. Woo. But not much running room for him this time, and he's bounced down like a bowling ball that time, wasn't he?
And that's how you got to treat those scat backs. You got to try and hit them hard to slow them down.
Discourage them.
And discourage them from doing all that shaking in the hole.
Demetrius Lane was the man responsible that time, number 58.
Looks like LaRon Moore there might have caught a cramp over on the sideline, stretching it out after that long wide receiver screen.
3rd down and 6. 6:25 to go, third quarter. Plenty of time in there, and they finally get it complete to Bashir, but he's going to be short of a first down. Now that's where you talk about freshmen. Understanding where the first down marker is. He was coming underneath, but he has to be able to get enough yards to get the first down.
Yeah, you like for him to have the ability to do it in a way that doesn't disrupt the chemistry of the route. You know, what you got to think is you get man-to-man coverage. You want a crossing route in there.
And there you look at Bashir. 3 receptions, 7 yards.
He's not getting any old rack yards, is he?
No.
Might have to catch yards.
No. The first catch he got no yards. The last 2. Those other 2 7 yards came on the last 2 catches.
That's when you go back, you tell your quarterback, hey, throw it to somebody else, man. I'm covered. I'm not open.
And I believe the timeouts called by Del State. I believe the play clock was running out on them, and they called a timeout rather than taking a 5-yard penalty. They may need that timeout down the road. You're going to punt it anyhow, right? 5:34 remaining, third quarter. Back to Dover in a moment.
College football lives here. Catch up to
Back here in Dover, Delaware, 4th down and 2 facing Delaware State. And for the 6th time this evening, Nick Lochner will punt it away. He's averaging 44 yards per punt. Hall is deep. They've struggled on special teams. That is FAMU tonight, giving up some valuable yardage. High snap. Lochner brings it down and goes for the coffin corner once again. But this one not as good a punt as in the past. They'll mark it at the 30. Let's look at the impact players we talked about early in the contest and see how they've panned out.
Philip Sylvester got off to a slow start, but he did find the end zone, so that touchdown is crucial. Hey, Wilder's been all over the field. Vernon Wilder getting it done sideline to sideline, but he's had his difficulties with Struthers. On the Delaware State side, hey, the best football player in the field has been Vashawn Witten. He's lived up to expectation, and anytime you can get a defensive tackle with 3 tackles, D coordinators like that, Spinner's done his job.
Certainly has, and we see Pulley has returned to the Florida A&M lineup with 5:26 remaining, third quarter. He's been in a couple series, drove them down the field for their first touchdown of the ball game, and there he has pretty good feet too, doesn't he? And he scats across the 40 for 11 yards on a first down.
For a big man, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 200 pounds, showed some agility there in terms of throwing a couple shakes after he crossed the line of scrimmage.
Give him 12 on the carry. It's a first down and 10. We talked to Joe Taylor about this team compared to what he saw when he came in looking at film from the team a year ago. He said this team is a little more disciplined than the team a year ago. He conducted 8 tests plus academics, and some scholarships between players were even switched. So, you know, when you come in, you have to put your mark on your program. Here's Sylvester trying the right side, and Sylvester gets a couple before he's finally brought down.
And to follow up on your point, you just can't go out there and say, I'm going to teach discipline to these kids. You have to have a method in which you instill discipline. One of the things that impressed me was the order in which they eat food in the cafeteria. You know, they base it on GPA.
Right.
So the guys with the highest GPA eat first, and then the guys with the lower GPAs eat last. And I asked Coach Taylor, well, what about the freshmen? They don't have a GPA. He said they're freshmen.
They actually are last. They're still freshmen. Russell limps off, number 97, Akil Russell, senior out of Silver Spring, Maryland. It is 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard gain by Philip Sylvester. Sylvester looks like some of the great FAMU running backs in the past, like Tony Barber, Rashad Pompey, Amir Rasul, Kwame Vidal. You remember those guys? Even Bob Hayes and Willie Gallimore. He's been a little banged up. Here's Pulley going to the right side, and Pulley, a flag is down across midfield into Delaware State territory. We'll look at the flag in the vicinity of holding. Donnell Leathers is our referee, and it is holding.
He's getting a lot of camera time tonight.
Yes, he is.
I mean, the viewers forgot what we look like. I mean, it's all about the guys out on the field.
On the offense, number 4, 10 yards on the previous spot, still 2nd down.
You know, the Florida A&M opened up at home as we look at the holding penalty right here. There it is. Here it is.
Right there, got them twisted.
Well,
won't let them engage, and they turn them around that way. Hands on the jersey and the shoulders start to move. They'll call you. You got to get those hands in the chest. Then you can get away with it.
Florida A&M opened the season at home against Alabama State. They're on the road today. Their next game's on the road at Howard University. Then the following game is on the road against Tennessee State in Atlanta. They don't get back home to October 4th when they play South Carolina State. They have 7 road games this year.
And their home game is going to be against a team projected to win the MEAC conference. Wow.
Here's Sylvester to the 40. Mendez there defensively for Delaware State, a gain of 5. Curtis Pulley. You know, we were talking about how they were able to get him from Kentucky. Well, Bill Hayes, who is the athletic director, coached Pulley's uncle at Winston-Salem State University. So there's that connection there.
And that's why black college football is so special. We keep it in the family. We keep it in the family.
3rd down and 12. Plenty of room to run for Pulley. Gets a good block. Gets the 1st down across midfield and to the 45 of Delaware State.
And with runs like that, it's easy to see why so many coaches have had him play so many different positions. Wide receiver, running back. He's a fearless runner. He doesn't run like a typical quarterback looking to find space where they can go down and slide. When he touched that football, he's the hardest runner on the football field. He may be one of the hardest runners on this team. Take a look here. You see him get the ball in space. Ford field general leading, getting the shoulders down. It could have been a face mask tacked on at the end of that run, but he's a very aggressive runner from the quarterback position.
And you see the numbers on him, but that was a 20-yard run for him that time. 1st down and 10 now. He wants to go to the air. Reverses his field. Looking downfield. Lets it go. Has a man deep, but it's out of bounds. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Isaac West. Romaine down there defensively. The cornerback, the senior out of Queens, New York, number 23, defending on the play.
And West did a good job of getting behind the defender. But on that throw there, Pulley didn't have enough time to set his feet and fully get behind the throw and underthrew West a little bit.
Joe Taylor was at Hampton University at 16 years and 6 years that he was there. Double-digit wins. That's pretty good. Here's a quarterback draw, and he's still on his feet, Pulley, and he still has 1st down yardage down to the 35-yard line. So he's moving the pile himself. And Pulley continuing to do a pretty good job. He's leading rusher for this Florida A&M team. And
I like how once he crosses the line of scrimmage, he's not looking to go down. He's sliding, reading blockers, trying to set them up. So that's something that you can't teach. You either know how to run the football or you don't. And with Pulley, he knows which shoulder to set up the blockers for and how to run inside, how to run outside. We say it time and time again, defensive coordinators have not yet figured out a way to defend mobile quarterbacks.
11 yards on that run by Pulley. And it's another 1st down as they continue to move down the field. This drive started at the 30-yard line. Here he goes as a man wide open. Elliott, touchdown. Kevin Elliott.
He didn't
34 yards. No, he didn't. Elliott wide open in the end zone. And he got behind Ajay, who they've been playing cat and mouse all evening long.
They've been going at it. Ajay got caught peeking in the backfield and allowed Elliott to sneak by him, and Pulley did a great job throwing the ball right on the 5.
So an opportunity to tie it up with the point after for Florida A&M and Trevor Scott. So Kevin Elliott, who dropped the touchdown pass a week ago, takes this one in from 34 yards out for 6. Now another quick 6. Joe Taylor, his team has rallied. They were down 14 points. They've come back and have tied this one up in Dover, 21-21. 34-yard touchdown pass to Elliott.
So here we are in the 4th quarter. No time left, and the touchdown is under review.
Hey, guys, what do you think?
We're not ready to go yet. Is there any way you can send this thing in overtime?
No problem.
I don't know what he was looking at, but we're going into overtime.
Buffalo Wild Wings, you have to be here.
This could finally end it. Oh, my.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Opportunity Knocks, that's who. Tuesday, September 23rd. It's the opportunity for your family to star in its very own game show.
We are going to take over your neighborhood.
For your neighbors to cheer you on. And for you to win big.
Do you know how many girlfriends he's had? 4. Kevin?
13.
You are so grounded after this is over.
That's Opportunity Knocks. Premieres Tuesday, September 23rd, 8/7 Central on ABC.
ESPN College Football Primetime. Miami versus Florida, Saturday, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Did you know every Sunday a football fan goes without watching their favorite player?
According to a recent study by DirecTV, over 50 million fans live away from their team.
It's a condition known as displaced fan syndrome, or DFS.
I first contracted DFS when Peyton moved to Indianapolis, then again when Eli went to New York.
Thankfully, DirecTV has a cure.
Never miss a moment of your favorite team. NFL Sunday Ticket only from DirecTV. Every game, every Sunday.
Help fight DFS.
Make the call.
The sport's biggest star, the undefeated contender. Only one will break through and get closer to the light heavyweight title as former champ Chuck the Iceman Liddell, coming off a thrilling victory over Vanderlei Silva, faces Sugar Rashad Evans, the Ultimate Fighter winner who's never lost and is determined to knock off the UFC legend. The Ultimate Fighting Championship presents UFC 88 Breakthrough, live Saturday, September 6th from Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, on DirecTV pay-per-view.
21 all, and this is how it happened. They tie it all up. That is Florida A&M, Jay.
Take a look how the play action fake freezes the linebacker. You see Jackie Watkins right there, the inside linebacker. Once he comes up to look for the football, that clears up the passing lane, allowing Eddie Brown to become Kevin Elliott to get wide open in the end zone to make it a clear passing lane for Curtis Pulley to throw a strike for the touchdown.
Joe Taylor has got to be happy with his team coming back from 14 points down. They've tied it up, and he can become the 8th FCS coach to win 200 games. He's just 2 away from that. Eddie Robinson, Billy Joe, Jim Tressel, Tubby Raymond.
That's the who's who.
Yeah, that's who. Here you see Joe Taylor on the sideline. Short kick. Not much running room there on the return for Delaware State as they get it back to about the 25-yard line. See the future stars of football today when ESPNU delivers high school football action. It comes your way Friday night. It's the Armwood Hawks taking on the Plant Panthers. It's a Sunshine State Showdown. Old Spice High School Showcase presented by Nike on ESPNU Friday night at 8 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com with 1:55 to go, 3rd quarter. Del State with the ball at their own 28-yard line. Here's Winton, has some running room, decides to take off. He's going to go out of bounds. Gets a good block on the far sideline.
Now, what you saw there was a difference in two quarterbacks. Now, the previous series, we saw Florida A&M with Curtis Pulley. He got the ball in that much space. He was hitting home runs going deep. Now you see a quarterback that really likes to throw the ball before they run. And you see Winton kind of look, clear the line of scrimmage, and look for a spot to run out of bounds.
Minute 47 to go. They're going to.
On the offense, number 15, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
They're going to say, Zach Charles, that wasn't a good block. He caught the man from behind, so that moves the ball back. ESPNU is now in high definition, and to get great action on ESPNU in high def, contact your local cable operator or satellite provider. ESPNU HD, the big picture in college sports.
You've never looked better, Charlie.
Yeah, got to shave now, huh? A minute 45 to go, third quarter, clock running. First down, 15 now. And here's a delayed draw play, bouncing to the outside, but not much running room this time for Strother as they just hold on for dear life. And that was Greg Harvey, who got a hold of the ankle and said, I'm not letting the guy go.
It's a good thing he held on tight, but that's what you've got to do when you've got a guy that's so shifty. You got to tackle, grab him at the waist, and hold on tight. And that was a textbook tackle by Greg Harvey coming up from the free safety position.
Second down and 13, a gain of only 2 on that last play. LaShawn Winton, young man, had a pretty good season last year out of Chicago, Illinois. Led his team to the MEAC championship. And he's in trouble. Oh, somehow he got the ball into the hands of Strother, who's still in trouble. But he goes the other way, gets some blocks on the far sideline, but he's going to get caught from behind as he gets to the 30. A gain of about 4 or 5 after all of that.
Is he a walking highlight film or what? Or I should say a running highlight film. Winton did a good job of getting this ball off to him. He was sacked for all intents and purposes. And take a look here. Strother can't get the block. I mean, look at this cut right here. I mean, 2 guys just fall. 3 guys fall. Good blocks on the outside. And 6 guys had a chance to make that tackle and couldn't bring them down.
He finally got caught at the 30. Gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 8. 3rd down conversions tonight for Delaware State. They are only 2 of 9. And we're going to get a delay of game penalty unless they call a timeout. Or is it end of quarter? Okay, I see all these zeros out here. They're all over the place. And there is a timeout on the field as the 3rd quarter comes to an end in Dover. We're all tied at 21. It's a good one. MEAC style.
For great college football, order ESPN Game Plan today.
As we start the 4th quarter here, Charlie Neal and Jay Walker all tied at 21. Delaware State took a 14-0 lead. FAMU with 14 second quarter points. Delaware State with just 7. FAMU scored the only points in the 3rd quarter or in the second half. They scored 7, but Delaware State only gave up 38 points all of last season in the 4th quarter. Let's see if they can hold up defensively as LaShawn Winton takes off and picks up a 1st down. That was a 3rd and 8 situation. So one of the rare 3rd down pickups for Del State as Sean Rush made the stop, number 34, defensively.
And that was a very gutsy call by offensive coordinator Doug Sams. 3rd and 8, your team had lost all its momentum. They needed that 1st down, and they picked it up, and they went with a quarterback draw. You talk about having faith in your passing game or lack of.
1st and 10. There's a little draw to Strother, and Strother about 5 yards on that run. And we talked about the fact that this Delaware State team is looking for their another win as far as home openers or opening games are concerned. The team had 4 straight losing seasons between 01 and 04. Al Levan was 4-7 his first year here in Dover, but since that time 25-9. That's pretty good. 2nd down again, and close to another 1st down is Chris Strother. He's been a workhorse, hasn't he, Jay? That's his 23rd carry today.
I mean, although Winton has done a good job managing the game. Best football player on the field for Delaware State is Chris Struthers. He's a special talent. You talk about Kareem Jones. They've got a two-headed monster here running back with Jones and Struther. And Struther's shown the ability to take 20-plus carry and still keep getting stronger as the game goes on.
114 yards. He has 100 yards rushing in the ball game. Pulley with 58 to lead Florida A&M, and he hasn't played the whole game at quarterback. That's pretty good for him, isn't it? Here's a pass out in the flat, and it's caught. But paying the price is Derek McNeil, the H-back, leading returning receivers. Greg Harvey really put the leather on him.
But that's a throw, and you don't mind getting hit there because of the completion, and you got positive yardage. Florida A&M decided they were going to sell out and go with the zero blitz, bringing everybody in one-on-one coverage on the outside. By them getting that completion, you probably won't see the blitz for Florida A&M for a while.
2nd down and 3 after that 7-yard gain. Struther the man in motion. Quarterback wants to keep it this time, gets a block, but coming up strong and thrown and intercepted. This is intercepted by Holcomb. Curtis Holcomb comes up strong. And I'll tell you, that was caused by Greg Harvey. Harvey was coming in on the quarterback and made LaShawn Winton throw it.
Yep, and he came up from his free safety position. He realized that his man was not going out in coverage. He came after the quarterback like a ball hawk. Watch him just make a sprint at the quarterback to hit him when he realizes Winton may try and get outside the pocket. And what a great catch on the interception by Curtis Holcomb. He's been Johnny on the spot twice today.
He certainly has. And let's see if FAMU can capitalize on the turnover. Maybe a cramp. Hopefully it's nothing too serious that time. That was on the lineman, Adrian Brown, big number 77, out of Randallstown High in Baltimore.
You know, and it's been very humid up here. One thing about it, when we were down on the field earlier, with this field turf that everybody seems to have now, it gets hot. And that's why you see so many cramps now, more than you used to see on a normal Saturday night compared to having grass.
So the 2nd turnover of the night, the 2nd interception thrown by Winton. He threw 6 all season last year. Sylvester bounces to the outside and picks up about 4 yards.
And that's some of that good hard running that came in and took the MEAC conference by storm last year as a freshman phenom. When Philip Sylvester decides he wants to hit that hole, he can hit that hole hard and in a hurry.
He was 19th in the nation in all-purpose rushing yards a year ago, where he averaged 164 combined yards. This returns, catching, and throwing the whole bit. As Eddie Battle is running the offense now for Joe Taylor with 12:20 to go. We're all tied at 21. Battle wants to go to the air, throws it, and that should have been intercepted. In and out of the hands of Quentin Brown, young man that you know very well. He attended your camp when he was a youngster in high school, right?
Yeah, he's one of my Skywalker Flight School kids, my camp I do back in Maryland. He did a good job of recognizing, hey, they're coming this way. And he had that ball. He cut across it. You got to hold on to it, Quentin. That's why you play DB, huh? Wide receiver that can't catch. He did everything right, but come up with the interception, and that would have been huge. But good recognition.
Coming out of Douglas High in Upper Marlboro, he started his college career at Syracuse and transferred here. Played some wide receiver at Syracuse. Is that why you were giving him the blues? Because you knew he was a wide receiver at Syracuse?
He's a great athlete. Coming out of high school, he's a great athlete. He used to play a little bit of quarterback in high school, and coming here and transferred from Syracuse down here at Delaware State more impersonally. He's got his degree. He's working on his master's. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Student athletes, and both these schools, they got a mantra here at Delaware State. Students first, athletes second. That goes around the ring here, and they mean it.
Here's a punt by Florida A&M, and the catch made, but a penalty marker is down on the far sideline, and coming up with the catch is Zach Charles after a 34-yard punt. Now let's see what happens here. Are we going to get another one of those penalties where they keep the ball? We had one in the first half on a punt where there was holding on the defense, and Delaware State was able to benefit from it and keep the ball. Let's see what happens here.
I think this one's going against the Rattlers.
Delaware State's next game won't get any easier. They'll be traveling to Kent State, and then they'll come home to face Central Connecticut. A year ago, they lost to Kent State 38-7. This is a illegal shift, illegal participation on the defense, illegal shift on the offense.
Offsetting penalties on the play, illegal motion on the offense, illegal substitution on the defense, penalty offset, replay 4th down.
So they'll kick it again from their own 46-yard line with under 12 minutes to go in this one. In fact, Delaware State a year ago was just the 3rd team in the 36-year history of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference to post a perfect 8-0 conference record.
That's impressive, but keep in mind they've only had 8 conference games you've been eligible to win since 1996.
Well, that's true, but still.
So you're trying to say, you know, my little 6-0
no, it didn't mean anything.
Didn't mean anything.
Because you didn't win 8. Should have had more teams in the conference then, right?
You can only beat who's on the schedule. What a bad punt here.
Get away from it. Everybody's yelling, and look at it.
Wow. This
one, maybe 12 yards. A 12-yard punt. That's all it was. 11:45 to go in this one. Delaware State, good field position.
In the 3rd, back to Charlie and Jay.
Well, pretty good ball game going on down there, huh?
Hey, Vandy in South Carolina, huh? Thursday night. Ball coach, not as easy. Can't run it up as well.
At 11:45 to go in this one. From the shotgun, Vashawn Winton, who's gone all the way at quarterback, hands off to Strother. Sheds 1 tackle, but doesn't get away from anybody else. Vernon Wilder, number 44, was the first one to hit him, and somehow he got out of. And Wilder is, you know, one of those sure tacklers on this Florida A&M team in preseason first-team all-conference selection.
But Wilder doesn't miss often. Once he gets his hands on you, normally the play's over, but Strother's showing the ability to make Wilder miss behind the line of scrimmage and get back and gain positive yards.
That positive yards, got 2 to be exact. 2nd down and 8. Here's a blitz inside. Here's a pass complete. And all the way down for Zach Charles, a 1st down into Florida A&M territory. Down to the 47, Demetrius Lane finally making the stop defensively for Florida A&M, number 58, junior out of Hollywood, Florida.
Great job by Charles getting there, but more importantly, it looked like Vashawn Winton got hit at the end of that play and came up a little bit gimpy with his ankle, limping around, so his mobility may be challenged here at the latter parts of this football game.
Pitch to the outside, still on his feet, getting some yards is Eddie Brown on the far sideline, and Eddie Brown gains yards out to down to about the 40-yard line. And you're talking about Winton, you know, he suffered an ankle, I believe it was an ankle or leg break prior to the 07 season in the spring, and he was a little slow coming back, but he came back and of course led them to the MEAC championship.
He's from the Chicago, that is. Tough kid there. It'll take more than a little broken leg to keep him out.
2nd down and 7. Strother, the workhorse, carries the ball again for the 25th time today. Now that's a workhorse. How often do you see that on a college level where they run a running back 25, 30 times a game?
Yeah, they don't like to do it, especially not this early in the season because it's a long football season. But what I've liked is the ability of the runs. He can show you the shake on the outside. He can run with power. This kid seems to have it all. He's the total package.
Plus, he's caught 3 passes tonight. He has 122 yards rushing on the ground. Delaware State moving the chains, using the clock. All tied here at 21 in Dover. Pass complete, far sideline. LaRon Moore, 1st down inside the 15 to about the 17-yard line. So Queer Hall finally making the stop defensively, but more importantly, Vashawn Winton starting to come into his own, even though he's thrown 2 interceptions tonight. Looking pretty good in the passing department, 15 of 26, 127 yards and a touchdown.
Good time in there, able to connect on the curl route with Moore. No free safety in the middle of the field. Look for Delaware State to take a shot here.
Throw the little fade route into the end zone. This one goes incomplete, trying to hit Darius Jackson, the freshman out of Quincy, Florida.
And that's a pet peeve of mine. You've got no free safety in the middle of the field. Don't settle for the fade route. Obviously, you want to go deep. They're man-to-man coverage. Take a chance down the middle of the field.
Nobody's there.
Do a post, yeah. The moment you do the fade route, then you bring the sideline into play. Take a look at these numbers here.
And the defender uses the sideline to help him.
Sammy Sideline never missed a tackle.
2nd and 10. Looking in the middle this time. Now they dink it off to Strother. Not much there, maybe 3 yards, and that's it. To about the 19. Vernon Wilder was there defensively. Wilder's had a pretty good game on the defensive side of the ball for George Small and Tim Edwards. They have defensive coordinators on this Florida A&M squad, and Tim Edwards and Earl Holmes. These guys both do a great job with these kids.
And Earl Holmes is going to be one of the rising coaches in the coaching profession. 10-year NFL veteran, played at Florida A&M, and Coach Taylor said he's been surprised at how well he's been able to become a coach so quickly.
Too big, but they're going to call interference.
Oh, wow.
Pass interference is going to be called in the end zone on Curtis Holcomb, the young man who had the interception just moments ago.
Yeah, look at Coach Taylor. He's getting frustrated. That ball was 20 yards in the air.
Well, he's saying that it was uncatchable.
Uncatchable.
On Darius Jackson, and they're gonna mark it.
Wow, and you said it too. As soon as he threw the ball, you said too high. Right. We knew from the release point. Take a look at this. When he releases this ball clearly gets away from Vashawn Winton. Sails on. Look how high. That ball's above the goalpost. No chance at catching that ball. Wow. Take a look here from another angle. I mean, this ball just got away from him. It's high. Clearly high.
Joe Taylor's not very happy. Needless to say, on the sideline. Meanwhile, we have a 1st and goal, half the distance to the goal line. The ball is spotted at the 4-yard line where it is 1st down. From the gun. Winton hands off to Strother. Now Winton keeps it. Goes left, and he's in for 6. Winton kept the ball. Gave it and pulled it back out of the stomach of Strother and takes it in for a rushing touchdown. And that is Winton's 3rd rushing touchdown. Make that the 4th rushing touchdown, 3rd rushing touchdown,
on the ground,
and 1 in the air.
Hey, that's Mr. Offense, and that's what you expect from your senior quarterback, leadership and finding the ability to get the job done.
Still a lot of time. 8:17 left here in the 4th quarter. They go for the point after. Off the leg of Riley Flickinger. He just missed a 53-yard field goal earlier on in the contest, but the point after is good. He didn't miss this one. 28-21. Controversial call puts Delaware State with a 1st and goal at the 4, and Vashawn Winton with his 3rd rushing touchdown of the night.
Really game plan.
ESPNU is now in high def. To get the great action on ESPNU in high definition, contact your local cable operator or satellite provider. ESPNU HD, the big picture in college sports. And along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal here in Dover, Delaware. 28-21 is our score as Delaware State has regained the lead. An 8-play, 57-yard drive, 328. And there you see Winton, 4 touchdowns tonight, 1 in the air, 3 on the ground. A 1-yard run, 4-yard run, 16-yard pass, and a 4-yard run. That's the way it is. And we talk about plays and maybe a questionable call on part of the official or the back judge on that pass interference penalty. But as Coach Levan said, he takes a page from his old high school coach, Forrest McKinney. We don't need pity parties, right?
Hey, down there in Pierce, Florida, they said, hey, if they called back 5 touchdowns, we should have scored 6.
This one picked up.
He's gone.
Here we go. Leroy Van. He's off to the races. He had a 99-yarder a week ago. This one is good for 79. Touchdown, FAMU.
And now we can officially say Leroy the Van.
2 weeks in a row, 2 touchdowns returned off kickoffs, ensuing kickoffs to be exact.
Special teams, we knew it was just a matter of time, and they elected to kick the ball to him. And look at this. This is just a foot race. Jets, 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 and more jets, and you can dive all you want. You're not catching him. And give me a little something in the end zone. Give it to him.
Boy, the people at the moon are really going off right now down in Tallahassee.
Oh, man, they got it going on. And you knew there's no quitting these boys from Florida.
8:07 the time remaining here. The point after to tie it. Officially, that was an 80-yard return for Van. He had a 99-yarder against Alabama State a week ago. Do you think when they play Howard, they're going to kick to him next 2 weeks from now?
You better do that pooch kick and make him call fair catch. And I mean, look at this. Once he sees this crease, it's over. If you blink, you're going to miss this. He's going to catch the ball there, let it drop. That's risky. But look at that space right up the middle. Pew! It just becomes a foot race. And you're not going to catch him.
And he did it in 9 seconds because the score prior to that came at 8:17. This one comes at 8:07. Actually, what? No, that's 10 seconds.
Look at him stride.
Close.
Look at him stride. Two-stepping. Every 5 yards, getting 2 steps done. That's how you know a guy's moving.
10 seconds it took him to get down the field. 79 yards. From the time he touched it till he went, or 80 yards from the time he touched it till he went into the end zone.
And look at him on the sideline. You know, he's one of those guys. We saw him in the pregame. We were talking to him, and he was sitting there showcasing, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you another one, baby." I asked him about the hair, and you know, and he had the gold in his mouth earlier, and he said, "I like Lil Wayne, man." Just like that, not man. I like Lil Wayne, man. And Lil Wayne, you made him proud right there. And, hey, I like you as a football player, man.
He's from Blake High in Tampa, Florida. He had 9 tackles, a sack, and the kickoff return against Alabama State a week ago. He had 3 kickoff returns, 34 yards in 07. In fact, that kickoff return against Alabama State a week ago gave Florida A&M the lead for good, a game that they won 30-20. This tied it up after Delaware State had just put it in the end zone.
I mean, isn't that ironic how the game of football, that's why the ball's not round, you know, it bounces both directions, and Delaware State gets some help getting 7 points on the board. Florida A&M comes right back, gets some help with a bounce there that he was able to field and take it to the house. And we're right back where we started several minutes ago.
Short kick coming to one of the up people. And this is Zach Charles. And Zach Charles had a little steam going for himself before he's tripped up at about the 42-43 yard line. There he is. Zach Charles Jr. out of Winter Haven, Florida. And, you know, we talked to Al Levan, and we talked about the key to the game for this Delaware State team. He says, kicking game, slow down their run game, and make them throw. Well, they've done all those things, and it's a 28-28 ball game.
What are you going to try next? What are you going to try next?
8:02 remaining in the game, all tied at 28. And at the 40-yard line, Delaware State has the ball, first down and 10. Receivers tripped out to the right side, but again, this is man who's been the workhorse, Chris Strother, his 26th carry of the night. We haven't even seen Kareem Jones, who, remember, was the number 8 rusher in the MEAC and preseason second-team all-conference a year ago. And he's been banged up with a little foot injury. So Strother has, you know, my old partner Lynn Barney used to say, don't put your hat down or glove down, it'll fit somebody else's hand. And I think this is what's happening in this particular situation where Kareem Jones may have trouble getting back in the lineup.
Strother has definitely earned himself some more playing time throughout the season.
On the option to the outside. Boy, you talk about a pinball.
See, nothing good comes out of quarterbacks getting hit
Not
by
like
300-pound D linemen.
Not like that.
Just nothing good can come from it. So you try and avoid those types of hits at all costs. Cameron Houston there, number 71, put the boom on Vashawn Winton.
Lost 2 yards on the play. Brings up another third down situation for the Hornets, who are 3 of 10 in third down conversions tonight.
See, I crowd the line of scrimmage. You know Delaware State's not going to throw the ball vertically against you. They haven't done it all night.
Well, he's going
crossing route too.
Yeah, to McNeil, and McNeil is brought down by the man who just returned the kickoff for a touchdown, Leroy Van. So Van on McNeil, and his 4th down punting situation for the Hornets with 6:25 to go and the clock running.
Van showing that he's not just a special teams guru. He can play some defense as well. That's a good job there. You know, that's a good scout. And you start realizing, hey, all they're doing is throwing these crossing routes on us. Let's crowd the line of scrimmage a little bit. And Delaware State did want to rise to the challenge and contest them vertically.
High snap. They've had that happening all night long, but Lochner done a pretty good job. And here's a fair catch called for made by Hall right at about the 27-yard line. There's a timeout on the field. 6:03 is the time remaining here. We're in the 4th quarter of this one, all tied at 28.
76 has student filmmakers to give their spin on what makes our gasoline so great. Here's one of the scholarship-winning commercials.
A good one going between the Commodores and the Gamecocks, huh?
They're having some issues on offense, South Carolina. I mean, last week it was the defense that clearly carried them for the whole first half. Now they've only got 10 points in this game, trailing by 7 to Vanderbilt. They got to work on something offensively down there in Columbia.
Yeah. Nixon, a pair of touchdowns, 166 yards a week ago. Here we go. Keeping the ball on the ground and nothing doing that time, as big number 95 was there to make sure they didn't get ahead of steam. That is on the defensive side of the ball for Del State, and that is Tyron Hurst.
You know, anytime you see a lineman make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, those little boring plays to watch on TV normally means some 300-pound man fell on a 200-pound running back with a collision. That's what I used to tell people about the NFL. Those boring plays you see on first down when they gain 1 or 2 yards, somebody got beat up. Just didn't look good from a distance.
2nd and 13 after the loss of 3 on that last play. Pulley is in the lineup at quarterback now for Florida A&M. Battle led them to the last drive. Here's Pulley. He's going to take off and run. Has done a pretty good job. He was the leading rusher for this team. He's across midfield into Delaware State territory. Are they going to say the ground caused a fumble? Yes.
He was down.
He was down. Now remember, in the football championship subdivision, we don't have the benefit of replay or challenges on questionable calls. So a 29-yard gain by the quarterback, Pulley.
And if you're going to go in there and try and pressure a mobile quarterback, you've got to control all the gaps. And Pulley's one of those guys, if you're going to go in there and ask him, you better make sure you get him and bring him down, because if he finds a crease, he will exploit your defense.
7 carries for him today, 87 yards. And you see what he's done with his counterpart, Eddie Battle, in the lineup. And like I said, he has 87 yards and hasn't played the whole game. As they bounce it to the outside, flag is down as Henry took a wallop.
Wow, I don't know about that. That looked like a good football block. He blocked him, a little wide receiver on a little crackback. I know they're going to call that one. And then another penalty flag came in there late, but it looked like a good seal block.
And it's against Florida A&M. They're going to call a
low block.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Coming on your right side right there. He threw the shoulder in there. It looked like it was above the knee, around the waist.
On the offense, number 15, blocking back towards the ball. 15-yard
That's a couple of penalties.
Replay first down.
That's a big one. 15-yarder. And that's on Javaris Knight, junior out of Tallahassee. In fact, his cousin is quite a player. Free safety with the San Diego Chargers, Antonio Cromartie.
Oh, a great player.
I figured you'd wake up.
You got some saying he's the best in the business now.
The penalty situation tonight. Here's a pitch. Now they got to throw it.
Look out.
Intercepted. Intercepted. And that is Jerome Strums, who comes up with the INT, the junior out of Windsor, Connecticut. And Pulley didn't throw that. Remember, Sylvester threw it.
Sylvester threw that one and didn't fool anybody. One route, you see the pitch here. He's just playing back, laying back, and good job of recognition by Delaware State. And when you're going to play free safety, as a free safety, your job is nobody gets behind you. Jerome Strums did a good job of recognizing the play and going up and snatching that interception out the air.
3rd turnover for Florida A&M. That's the first INT. They've fumbled a couple times. They fumbled once, had a muff on a return. And now great field position and the ball and the clock with 4:23 to go, all tied at 28 for Del State. And again, Strother on the carry. He gets across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Gain of 6. And let's look at the turnovers tonight. 2 turnovers. Actually, it's the 3rd turnover for Florida A&M. Delaware State has had 2 turnovers. It should be just takeaways. Florida A&M has turned the ball over 3 times. Looking down the field, complete to McNeil, and McNeil has a first down across midfield at the 40-yard line. And stop made by Bowler. Greg Bowler, 17 yards on the gain to Derek McNeil, the 5'9" senior from Petersburg, Virginia.
You get so used to throwing the ball to the sidelines that you miss a guy running wide open down the seam. Jerome Moore was wide open running down the seam, but because they
you were salivating, Jay.
Sideline, that was a touchdown.
You were trying to throw it from up here, weren't you?
The game-winning touchdown had he seen him.
Here's Strother again. Finally wrapped up after a few yards by number 71 Cameron Houston, the junior out of Rockledge, Florida. Gain of 5. 2nd down and 5.
Now we're getting on that point of the field where they're starting to move the ball, picked up a couple first downs. Look for Florida A&M to go get some pressure on there to disrupt this momentum, try and create a turnover to back up Delaware State.
Del State trying to make it 4 in a row over Florida A&M in the win column. And again, Strother with the ball. And he almost ran out of the arms. In fact, he really did run out of the arms of number 41, Alvis Graham. I mean, Graham had him wrapped up, and somehow he still got out of there and got 3 yards.
They made the right call. They brought the middle linebackers, had contact beyond the line of scrimmage, but Struthers had that forward lean and was able to pick up a couple yards after he slipped the tackle.
3rd down and 2 now, 2:21 on the clock. They're in field goal range. Remember, they have a pretty strong leg in kicker Ryan Flickinger. He just missed a 53-yarder early on in this contest. In fact, it was in the first half. Strother again trying to get to the first down mark. Now, he didn't make it. He's going to be a yard shy. Now, do you gamble here? Remember, the ball's at the 31. It'll be a 58-yard field goal attempt if he tries to or was it 53, but yeah, about 53, 54-yarder.
Well, I would take a timeout to think about it. One, let that clock tick down a little bit, and that's what they're going to do over there. It looks like they're going to, but Levan seems like he wants to override it.
Well, he's waiting. He wants the clock to go down some more.
Yeah.
He's looking at the game clock, the play clock, and everything else. Well, FAMU calls a timeout.
Because they realized they were going to run it down as well. So
right.
They want to have an opportunity to, if they miss on whatever they decide to do, whether it's a field goal or don't convert, they want some time on the clock to go try to win.
Well, the key plays to the game, there's quite a few of them. We start right here with a fumble by Van early on in the contest.
Yeah, there were some turnovers, and Delaware State showed the ability to convert on those turnovers, ending up with 14 points for the Hornets. And every time they turned the ball over Florida A&M, it seemed like we saw Bashawn Winton doing this, taking the ball in for a score. Then you saw the touchdown pass, and these kids from Florida fought, and they brought a little trickery in there. The old flea flicker worked for a wide open touchdown score. And the controversial call here when they called a pass interference on a clearly uncatchable ball. But what happened after that? Bashawn Winton, mama, there go that man again, taking it into the house.
But on the ensuing kick, here's Leroy, taking it to the house.
Leroy the man Van.
There you see the scoring. Both teams have scored here in the fourth quarter. We're all tied. Remember, Del State was ahead 14-0 in this ball game, ahead 21-14 at the half. But FAMU keeps coming back, and now they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Now let's see if they're going to hand it off. It looks like Winton is going to work under center. He's been working from the shotgun all evening, and will probably keep a quarterback keeper, would you think?
Looks like it.
Or maybe try to draw them off sides because they only need a yard for a first down. First down they have with Strother. That wasn't a quarterback keeper, but Strother keeps the drive alive, picking up a few more yards with 3 yards on that carry, his 31st touch of the evening by way of the run game.
I like that. Run the ball to the left side behind Adrian Brown's done a good job all night. And you see, look at Strother, does a good job of turning sideways. They were there in the hole, but he turned sideways and found the yardage needed for the first down.
They actually gave him 4 yards officially on that carry, so he has 144 yards on the night. Now on 1st and 10 with 1:15 to go. Here's the quarterback, Winton, and he gets a couple of yards down to the 25-yard line. Now, one thing you probably need to be smart in doing if you're going to keep the ball and rely maybe on a field goal to win it for you is you want to keep the ball toward the middle of the field.
Yeah, where you position the ball. You know, that's one of the things that as a coach, you know, hey, which you go ask your kicker. Do you want it on the left hash or the right hash? Because in the college game, the hash marks are so much more extreme than in the pro game. And you want to make sure you have the proper angle for the kick.
Well, coach said he wanted to score in the high 20s. He's got 28 points on the board, 31 to win it, and the clock is running out. From right, fumble! And FAMU did not capitalize. I think Delaware State was able to fall on it. Boy, Strother was popped, wasn't he?
Man, Wynn was lucky he was there, and they put a popping on him. And with that ball going so far back, that field goal attempt's not as easy as it was a couple plays ago. Look at this collision here. Wham! That's something Strother can't do. When you're in this type of situation, you can't turn your body sideways and allow a run-stuffing linebacker like Wilder to get a helmet on the football.
Yeah, Vernon Wilder he's a man among men.
He's a tackling machine. He's
yes,
a run stuffer, and you know he lost a little weight during the offseason. Has come back in here in better playing shape, and still has had the ability to stop ball carriers in their tracks.
15 seconds is the time remaining. Of course, Flickinger, as I mentioned, missed a 53-yard field goal earlier in the contest. The ball is now spotted right at about the 30-yard line. So you figure 7 yards back. We're looking at a 47-yard field goal. And we're in Dover, Delaware for this MEAC contest between Delaware State and Florida A&M, all tied at 28 apiece. Along with Jay Walker, Charlie Neal, glad you could join us for this one, which has been a good ball game. Just in case you joined us to recap the scoring, it was a 14-0 lead for Delaware State. Winton on a 1-yard run and Winton a 16-yard pass to Brown. Sylvester came back for Florida A&M to make it 14-7. Then Winton a 4-yard run made it 21-7. Battle a 10-yard pass to Elliott, 21-14 at the half. Pulley a pass, tied it up. Now they're going to go for it on 3rd down with 3rd and 13 to go with 15 seconds to go. Can't afford any mistakes, and now the quarterback just keeps it, goes toward the right hash mark, and with 1 timeout remaining, Delaware State will use it now with 4 seconds to go. And that's what Flickinger has done this evening. He's attempted one from 53 yards out. This one will be a 47-yard field goal attempt. He missed, and he had plenty of leg on that 53-yarder, and actually he kicked it in the same direction that he's kicking this one.
Yeah, there is a wind going to that side, so what you have to do is tell yourself, I just need to get the ball in the air and on course, and it'll get there. Don't worry so much about driving the ball out there. You've got plenty of leg to do that. Accuracy is going to be the key. They're going to need a good hold, good snap, and a good follow-through on the kick. Don't muscle it, but just make sure you have a nice follow-through.
Now this drive started at their own 37 after an interception, and that's what set them up in this position. And that interception came with 4:23 to go, so they've done a pretty good job of using the clock, moving the ball into field goal territory. Now let's see if they can capitalize.
And I think part of the reason they ran that last play and ran to the right side was the field goal attempt that was missed earlier was hooked a little bit. He missed it to the left, so they want to try and straighten him up a little bit. Here we go.
Brandon Hudson will hold, the junior out of Georgetown, Delaware. Flickinger will kick it, and Joe Taylor uses a timeout. He has one remaining after this.
Yeah, with 4 seconds to go on the game clock, this will be the last play in regulation, and what a contest. Let's give credit to these boys from down here in Tallahassee to come up here on this road trip, first road trip of the season, and play the defending MEAC champions to a 28-28 tie with 4 seconds left to go. Hats off. Is this program going in the right direction or what?
It certainly is. Both programs have excelled, or I should say Florida. I know Florida A&M is going in the right direction after last year going 3-8 overall, 2-7 as far as the conference is concerned. In the preseason poll, again, South Carolina State picked to be #1 again. But Delaware State had a surprise for them last year. So was Norfolk State. They came up, and I don't think they're going to suffer a sophomore jinx as far as winning is concerned.
I'm going to tell you the teams to watch out for: the number 4, number 5 seeds.
Morgan and Hampton
look good, and Morgan State, to me, has had the best talent in the conference for the past 2 years from a talent perspective, and they got some great football players there.
Brandon Hudson, the hole. Flickinger will attempt a 47-yard field goal. The kick is up. It's got it's going to be short. We're going to overtime. It's going to be short. He tried not to put too much into it.
Yeah, look at him limping, though. I mean, he's limping off the field like he hurt himself during that one. If you take a look at his lower leg, I mean, he is limping off that field like something's not right. It looks like he just might have chunked it.
And see what happened. Oh, he got hit.
He got hit at the end there.
Oh, that's what happened. He got hit by the.
How do you not call that?
Yeah, that could have been a roughing the kicker.
How do you not
on
call
Van?
That? Even if it's roughing the kicker or running into the kicker, you got to call that.
On Van.
Wow.
Well, we'll be back with the overtime from Dover. Who wants it? All tied at 28.
Do you want to?
We're getting ready for overtime after Flickinger misses the 47-yarder, but should have been a penalty maybe.
Yeah, Holder did a good job getting it down, and that hit right there, you are not allowed to hit that kicker at all, on his follow-through or wherever it may be. And actually, Leroy Van got away with one there. That just as easily could have been a justifiable call of running into the kicker.
And move the ball a little closer. Now let's look at the overtime rules for college football. The coin toss for the choice of offense or defense. A lot of teams like to go on defense first to see what the other team does, and we'll see what happens. But I know Joe Taylor, if he wins the toss, he says, I want the ball.
He wants the ball, no point in deferring.
And the coin toss also determines what end of the field you want to play. Each team gets a possession from the opponent's 25-yard line per overtime until a winner is declared. No game clock, play clock only. But after the third overtime, or after the second overtime, starting with the third overtime, if you score a touchdown, you must go for the two-point conversion.
Now here's a nugget for you. The first conference to institute overtime, the MEAC conference, they've been doing it for years, so this is old news to them. Yeah. The rest of the college football world just caught up to it. They started overtime in the MEAC conference in 1992.
So who's going to run it in for 25 yards out? Which quarterback?
Jay Walker. Oh, I'm up here, man. I'll tell you a safe bet, Curtis Pulley.
Yeah, that's
the way he's been running that rock. Curtis Pulley can run and get it done. And
who do you like in the overtime? It just what we've seen so far through 60 minutes of football.
Out of these two teams here, I think that the special teams is out of the equation.
They certainly are.
Talking on 25-yard line, but it seems to me like Delaware State has slowed down on that. FAMU has just been relying on the big play, flea flicker, the big run by the quarterback. It's so much harder to run when you run out of real estate with 25 yards to go.
Same coin, tails, heads, declare your choice. Tails. It is tails. You want defense? Which end you want the ball on?
Yeah, you see Joe Taylor, smart guy.
We're going to the
he
scoreboard
said,
end.
Although we want the ball, we're going to defend first in overtime.
In overtime, right. And like I said, most teams that win the toss will defer or go on defense because they want to see
what you have to do.
What you have to,
Yes.
I mean, you either have to.
On the scoreboard end of the field.
You have to score a touchdown or a field goal.
And you talk about overtime. What about that overtime classic last weekend
with UCLA
in Pasadena? Oh my goodness!
Wasn't that a great game?
I was so tired, but I couldn't go to sleep. You had to keep watching that game. I mean, what a fantastic game!
LSU.
Man, they just had them going. Yeah, Rick Neuheisel did a fantastic job as the Bruins knocked off Tennessee.
I meant Tennessee. I said LSU, Tennessee, and UCLA.
That was a stunner. And hey, for us, first Thursday night game for us this year, look what we get overtime. This is the tale of things to come during the college football season in 2008.
Well, at least we don't have a plane to catch tonight. But Delaware State will get the ball first in the overtime period.
Now, I do think that Florida A&M, in order to have success, they're going to have to crowd the line of scrimmage. You can't sit back in this cover two they're doing with 2 safety, because you know Delaware State wants to run the ball or dink and dunk you all day long. Get those safeties up on the line of scrimmage and make them pass.
Strother is in the backfield with the quarterback. Winton, he's going to the air on first down, throws it, and has it complete. And it's Zach Charles. And Zach Charles fumbles the ball.
He didn't fumble, just good effort.
Well, I was going to say, it looked like the ball may have popped up. Something came up out of there.
And that's what they're doing, is just hitting crossing routes.
But he got a first down. That moves the change. So they started from the 25. The ball is inside the 15 now. They'll mark it at about the 14-yard line.
And that's something that they really do a good job of on offense. On every pass play they have, they've got a guy running horizontal as well as vertical, and they just find the horizontal receiver whenever you get man-to-man coverage.
Zach Charles is to the top of your screen now. In the slot to the right is McNeil. And they throw it out to McNeil. McNeil at the 10 and down to the 6-yard line. Goes Derek McNeil, the senior out of Petersburg, Virginia. His 7th catch of the night.
And I think one of the keys is he did not get a first down on that one, so they can still get another first down while they're driving, and they're going to need all the downs they can. Spread offenses typically struggle inside the red zone.
Second down, 2nd and 4 at the 6. And the quarterback is in. Vashawn Witten with his 5th touchdown of the night, his 4th rushing touchdown.
They made it look easy, didn't they?
They certainly did. From 6 yards out, Witten. 6-yard run. I think he put in a strong bid to be player of the week.
I would think so. That'd be tough to beat, but a lot of football games we played this weekend, and you see there, Wilder just cannot keep up with the foot speed of Winton to get outside the pocket. After the fake, he's out there, becomes a foot race, and Winton has had the best of that matchup all evening.
A 1-yard run, a 4-yard run, a 4-yard run, and a 6-yard run, plus a 16-yard pass to Brown, and that's been the scoring. Is coming off the field Adrian Brown, who's played a whale of a game at that left tackle spot tonight.
Yeah, no, keep an eye on that injury. That could become very important if Florida A&M is able to match the score just put up by Delaware State.
For the point after, Brandon Hudson the hole. Flickinger to make it 35-28. And this one is through the uprights. So now FAMU has to score a touchdown. If they don't get into the end zone, it's all over.
Who's the quarterback going to be?
25 yards, right?
Who's it going to be?
Well, that's the question. Are you going to bring in Battle, or are you going to bring in Pulley? Now, Pulley threw an interception the last time that he was in there. But Pulley has the running ability. So that may be the reason we see, and he is coming in.
Got to stir up a little controversy. I think if you have Pulley coming here right now, you're setting the tone for the rest of the season. Do you come back and start battling quarterback the next week? I don't know, but I will tell you this. If Florida A&M is fortunate enough to score, don't be surprised if they decide to go for 2. If they score. On the road, you got to steal a victory sometimes.
Well, or hope the other team makes a mistake. Play action. Lets it go. Intercepted. Game's over. Game's over. This one is all over. Jerome Strumps coming up with the INT, the junior. Played only 7 games a year ago. Only 15 career games, and they win it 35-28 in overtime, the first overtime period. An interception. And I had just said that Pulley threw an interception the last time he was in there. 4 turnovers tonight for Florida A&M. That's the story of the ball game. And 2 of them have been interceptions. Joe Taylor, not a happy camper right now.
Yeah, you see Strum's right there. He's just watching the quarterback's eyes, watching his eyes, watching his eyes. He should have just got rid of this ball. But you see Strum's come in there. That's the 2nd interception he got this evening. And all he's done is play his position and watch the quarterback's eyes. And the quarterback is taking the ball right to him each time.
He tried to force it into Kevin Elliott. Elliott has been the big receiver for them this evening. 6 catches, 81 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. But it just wasn't to be. This was Delaware State's night. So the 4th time this evening, or this year, or in this series, or straight year, I should say, that Delaware State has beaten Florida A&M. And our final score from Alumni Stadium here in Dover, Delaware, which was a good one, 35-28. Hornets of Delaware State over the Rattlers of Florida A&M. Long plane ride down back to Tallahassee tonight. They have a charter. They'll be leaving out of Wilmington as soon as they can get up there. Coming up next, we'll send you to our Sports Center U studio with Beth Mullins, Charles Arbuckle, and Mike Mentor. For more information, log on to your home for the finest in college sports, ESPNU.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The final score once again from Dover, Delaware, 35-28. Florida A&M goes to 1-1. Delaware State 1-0. For Jay Walker, Charlie Neal saying so long from Dover.